And with that, we're
Let's
rolling.
do this thing. So I finally started watching at the age of 33, A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, you're all grown up.
I'm all grown up, yeah.
Look at you.
Look at me interacting with the secular world.
Yep.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Well, I only watched the first 20
I
minutes
would
so
be
far.
interested to hear your review because that movie is painfully tainted by hype, right?
Yeah,
like
it's ultra hype.
It's been kind of ruined by how much love it got.
How many times have I tattooed Jack Skellington?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Let's
He's
be
a
honest
cultural
here.
icon.
when
Yeah,
I
he
was
is.
growing up as a goth kid, it was like, oh, everyone had Jack Skellington stuff
Oh,
or
yeah. I've got
Tim Burton stuff.
a
And
good friend of mine has like a full sleeve.
yeah,
And he had that full sleeve when we were in grade 11 together.
yeah, it was everywhere, and
Yeah.
everybody would wear the clothes, and they'd have big Jack Skellington dolls and stuff, and you're like, I don't understand the association.
You
I
know
think
who
it's-
became the real life Jack Skellington? That My Chemical Romance dude.
Oh yeah, well he
That was
profited.
the exemplification of Jack Skellington.
yeah
That whole
see,
era of music was like Jack Skellington
The,
in
like,
one
mall
band.
goth
I'm
emo
picturing
thing.
the AFI dude with the hair like coming to here.
Also similar.
I
yeah.
had that
Yeah.
hair
Did you?
a couple different times.
Who didn't have
Incredible.
that hair?
Fair enough. But I mean, I wore the makeup and I wore like. Mike, come on.
There you go.
So I wore the makeup and I had the black nails and I wore the socks on my hands and all that stuff.
Socks in your hands?
Yeah, well, you cut the holes through them.
Oh
Make
yeah.
like the weird
You didn't
glove
know that?
thing.
No.
Oh yeah, that was an emo-y thing.
I'm from
you
too
take
small-
you
but
take
it's-
mittens, like because they had to be mittens, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you'd cut the fingers off, so you could see your fingernails. Was that the?
Well, you
And
can
the
see
jewelry?
They were like fingerless. I don't know if it was for rings or whatever. I don't know what the pathology is.
I'm from too small a town for stuff like this.
But like
Yeah,
there
that's
were
fair.
people who would wear like phone cords off their pants and stuff and like to simulate like chains if they couldn't get chains.
Oh my goodness. See, I definitely
Right.
was there for the chain
It was
era.
almost like the phone cords looked more like cyber gothy. There was all kinds of different ways to do this. But
Yeah.
like I never understood why that movie got pulled into that.
See, like I was just thinking this, how it's because people my age, our age, we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old when that movie came out,
Mhm.
and it was like one of the earliest with that type of animation, and any earliest with a kids show that had that much storyline. Because there's actually quite a bit of storyline to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're successfully playing off good and evil. Like they're doing pretty well at playing off good and evil and watching evil try to imitate good, which is super fun. There's a good juxtaposition there, which would be very powerful for a 5-year-old's mind.
The problem is like that is a good movie,
Yeah.
but sometimes a good movie can be ruined by having too much exposure. I
Well-
just got sick of hearing about it.
Mhm.
Well, now watching it at 33 years old, with all the hype, I am sitting here going, "Oh, this is it." It's actually quite modest in
Mhm.
reality.
Yep.
Even though I've been hearing about it for years and I've seen it. Again, most of my interactions with this movie have been tattoos. No one really talks about it much, but I'm like, why am I tattooing this again? What's going on here?
Have you ever done
Pumpkins?
a Oogie Boogie or whatever the hell his name is?
No,
the
never
villain?
tattooed that,
No?
unfortunately. I want to.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Don't worry, eventually it'll come around. I'm sure.
Jeremy
Sure.
can't get it. He's already
No.
blacked out.
You can
No.
get it in white.
Boogie Boogie in white.
True. I don't know that I'll do that, but
I don't
think
recommend
that,
it. But
It'd be
I'll do it
hilarious if
anyway.
you just got terrible white tattoos.
just did all of this just to get the worst tattoos
Yeah,
ever.
like just
but
as a goof.
and just with
At
a
least
grin
his
on my
path out
face,
is
like
really easy.
Yeah, his path out is
and it's
easy.
really well done too. Like
Yeah.
it's really well done and ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're just everywhere. Fridge magnets.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do all of this? I mean, I'm sure someone out there has done that exact thing.
Oh yeah.
There's I have a weird fascination with there's those tattooers that are like, I guess you could call it high art, but it's like really bad and it's really
Well,
bad
that's when you
intentionally.
tattoo while you're high.
Sure, there's those, but it's like there's this one guy
I
in
worked for a guy
Germany.
like that.
Really? Yeah, you did. You really did.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think he's talking about the same thing. He said high art, not no art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not high while doing art.
Yeah.
But there's
Fair
this guy in Germany who's like he's like a street artist, and his street art is like really terrible looking cartoons of stuff, and he's also a tattooer. So people collect these unique cartoony pieces that just look terrible.
Oh,
like,
is it like Sucky Panther style?
Yeah, it's weird.
Because I want to do a Sucky Panther someday.
Yeah, but that's its own like.
It's its own genre now, but
Yeah.
it started out being really bad
Yeah.
stuff.
That's like anything. It's like we were talking about the scratchy lines, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything that starts out and it's like, this is weird, and then
Have you
it's
seen
like
the?
comes a
more,
look.
The more you learn art, the more you find out that if you establish a set of rules
Yeah.
and then follow through on that set of rules, you've still shown technical technical competence.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if you have this sketchy line bullshit or some bad color fading here and some colors that don't match each other on the color wheel here,
Mhm.
you can make that work as long as you're doing it unique enough and consistently enough that people can still see your rules. And those rules appeal to the technical part of their brain and draw them in, and they still see competence.
Well, this whole argument is like based on what is art, right?
Oh, exactly.
Like it's like I
And
get
we
it all the
explained it
time
in
too.
4 seconds.
It's
Yeah,
like
nailed it.
oh, why would you were like, I'll put those transformation posts up, right? And it's
Yeah.
always, you were art before. You're not, what did you do to yourself? You ruined everything. You had such a nice bodysuit.
the
It was
fact-
so cool.
The
Now it's
fact that
so
he's saying
stupid.
that makes
They
it
all
more
sound like
art.
that too.
They all do sound like, and why do you care, first off? Like, have you ever seen someone and got, I'm going to tell that person what I think about their choice.
Oh man.
Like,
No.
but like, I don't want to get into that type, but like,
For someone that I don't know
yeah.
and has not asked me, that's okay. When did we get to a place where we respond to questions that weren't asked?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
In life, that's so
That's just the
annoying.
thing. We all have a say, right? We all get to say what we think all
Right.
the time. No one fucking asked, but
No,
here's what I
no.
think.
I have a non-related but fun example of that, where as a tattoo artist, you can be casually making conversation with someone, and someone nearby will overhear that you tattooed someone one time, and they will walk over, and so there's step one, which is they start showing you stuff.
Yeah.
They start pulling
Oh,
up
that's
clothes and
annoying.
showing you their tattoos. That's pretty bad. Then they start moving your clothes and trying to see your tattoos. That's like, okay,
What?
whoa. And
When
then
did you have that?
what's that?
You were sexually assaulted.
This is becoming
I
sexual
don't know if I want to break
harassment
this
quick.
to you.
Oh, no,
I don't know if
that's-
this
This is
this
your
is
way of
digging into
confessing.
a deeper well,
That's
but
nowhere,
you've been
That's
abused.
nowhere near as bad.
Kevin,
Number 3.
Jeremy,
Number 3,
I was harassed in the workplace.
Yeah. Let me see if your
I
penis
was
is tattooed.
objectified
Exactly.
by my own clients.
Number 3 is the worst, though.
Okay.
Number
Uh-oh.
3 is where the random stranger starts showing you on their body where they want their next tattoo.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
telling you
tough.
their ideas. They're like, I'm gonna get a dragon that goes from here to over here.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear fucking
That's someone who
Any
doesn't
of
have enough tattoos or
Yeah.
enough time around tattoo
Yeah.
artists.
like
Yeah.
if you're a friend and I'm interested in you, then I'll listen to your tattoo ideas all.
I
freaking
mean,
day long.
I've been guilty of doing not that, but like
Yeah.
I'll be in a session and sometimes I'll be, here's what I want to do next. It's
Oh,
like,
but that's different. You're getting tattooed
Yeah, you're
right
talking
now.
to your.
And
but like,
That's like
I
saying-
also can understand even in the moment that this guy doesn't give as much of a shit about my
Yeah.
thing that I do. Because like I have a rule for life.
But you're in with Rick.
No,
That's
I know.
different.
But yeah, I mean it was Rick. Rick doesn't give a shit.
He's
and I
About
understand-
anything, really. It's like-
about anything. but at the same
If it's
time,
not
even
Halloween.
anyone, because I have a rule for life is, guess who cares as much about your shit as you do?
Oh man,
Fucking
no one.
everyone.
No one. No one cares as much about your shit as you do.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a good thing to remind yourself
That's
of every
right.
so often.
Or the guy at that gas station in the Soyuz who was showing you his tattoos.
Yeah. But you really should remind yourself of that almost on a daily basis. It keeps you humble and modest.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, you're not going to walk around like, look how special I am.
And it keeps you
Some people do.
I know.
and it keeps you empathetic. It keeps you understanding that everyone else's viewpoint is only through their lens.
Once again, yeah, sweetheart. We all want the fresh fries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like it's a motto for life for me. Who
Yeah.
doesn't think that they should get the best treatment?
Of course.
Who doesn't think that?
And
Well,
once you
there's a
understand,
lot of people that don't think that. They're very depressed.
yeah.
Well, sure, but
very
like
sad,
like,
on
very
some
insecure
internal
people.
Yeah.
level, we're running this main character thing where
I
everything's
deserve the
happening
soggy
around
fries.
me.
Those
I am the
people-
center of the universe.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Let me
Those
tell you
people-
about what I want to get tattooed on my shoulder.
I mean,
no.
whenever the kids graduate, I got
Let
some
me
money around.
show
I'll do
you what I want on my shoulder.
Yeah. Or someone who says, "Oh, I'm gonna get covered."
Yeah.
Honey,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Yeah. No, you're
That-
not.
that's
The people
years
who
of
want to get
dedication.
covered are doing it.
I wish you the best, but if you want to get covered, I'm gonna see you here every fucking week.
That's not a line I've ever said.
no.
In
of
fact, at
course.
one point, I didn't even think I'd have sleeves. I had like stuff on, like all this stuff
Yeah.
before I even had sleeves. I had like one tattoo on my arm,
Mhm.
and I had like this whole fucking mantle up here.
because your interest wasn't in the end result. Your interest has
No.
always kind of been the process.
Well, and it
You've
was
always
second.
enjoyed the process.
It was second for me anyway. Like
Yeah.
for a long time, I was like, tattoos, like whatever. I really was. I didn't really care that much about them at first.
until you had no more space for piercings.
Well, I got through with most of the piercings I wanted, and I was like, maybe I'll get my first tattoo. So it comes from the same place, clearly.
Yeah.
And like that's why every now and then I think even sometimes I have to consciously remind not just me but my Instagram presence that hey, I'm actually more about piercings than tattoos. Somehow I
yeah.
got pulled into this black work thing. Like I get
Somehow.
well, no, I get that it's happened, and I get it. Like it's become,
by doing an entire black.
yeah.
but it's
I can tell you
become
how.
like
That's why.
Yeah.
more my identity than I had really
You
planned it.
planned on it. I get
Because
you.
like I was always more about big piercings and
Yeah.
weird stuff like that, right? So every now and then I'm like, I have to be like, hey, look at this, look how big my nose is, and stick all the things through it.
Ooh,
I
all
got to
the
admit, I'm
things.
in the same boat. Like I forget that I'm heavily tattooed.
Yeah,
Like I would play gigs, and then, but I showed up to a gig one time, and like the drummer was like, "Hey, look, the tattoos in the band just doubled," and everybody there is tattooed.
and then Kevin, a little bit of a smile. Ooh,
Well, no,
thank
I
you.
was kind of like, "What?"
yeah.
Like I just seem like because I don't think of myself as heavily tattooed.
Well, you
and
don't
then-
because you live in your skin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then I'll see like, oh yeah, right, yeah. I
This
guess I
happens
do.
with piercings too, which is why I always say you have to like almost be like outside of yourself going, wow, that hole's getting really big or whatever, right? So that you don't keep going because we live in our skin and we don't really realize how it's changing.
I dreamt I got a bunch of face tattoos last night.
Sure.
Sweet.
What did you
And-
get?
They're words. I just got big words, and one of them was like a big word that kind of wrapped around from this side of my head to the center of my forehead. And
It's a
then,
bad
of course,
choice.
Yep,
the next
that's
part of
poor.
the dream was imagining going to visit my parents and trying to like navigate those troubled waters. And
Let me tell you, man.
it was a real awkward time trying to reconcile having script here.
Did you
and
have like
here.
atheist written across?
Yeah,
your-
it was. Well, you know, it wasn't even that obvious. It was something semi-ironic.
E equals MC squared. Just some sort of science thing.
Yeah, it's just. I'm smart.
Well, there
I
are
got an
tattoos like
equation.
that. There's a guy who has nothing but script all over his body,
Ugh.
and it's all like unconnected.
Oh,
So like
good,
it'll
great.
be a band's name, then it'll be a famous quote, then
Yeah.
it'll be a math equation somewhere.
my
He's got a
goodness.
whole bodysuit of these, but it's not a bodysuit. You
Is
could have
that
done the.
Is that Italian guy who always dances?
I don't know who it is, but
Yeah.
I've only seen him a handful of times posted on Instagram.
Memento style.
But the problem is like I'm not taking away from his
It's a
journey.
memory problem.
It's just like
He's gonna remember stuff.
Yeah, just-
yeah, just putting
shit.
notes down.
He brings his
But,
stick
like,
and poke machine.
You could envision
with his
someone
name.
banging out that bodysuit in like 10 sessions.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
these
don't-
scripts take no time because they're all
Yeah.
this big.
If you're good at it.
That's the
There's no
thing
You're good at
background
script.
anywhere, so
Yeah.
it's just like.
But doing good script, yeah, I guess you can do a big word.
No, they're
reveal
not
like
big
this.
though.
Oh.
They're real small.
Yeah. If you go to like
That would be
really
quick.
good script guys, I mean, they're so fast.
I mean,
that's
like
fair.
cool. What he's done something really original, I
Yeah.
guess. But
I just like I follow this guy who does. He's a part of the Bang Bang group in New York, so they're all like the amazing micro tattoo guys.
yeah,
And he does just script, and you sit down, you tell him what the idea is, and then he'll draw it, like he'll calligraphy out the script and then tattoo it on you. So you have this like custom written,
yeah.
beautiful script for that placement on the body. Oh man, it's just gorgeous.
That was this thing.
There's a
guy we were
mecca
watching
of
that one
any
day.
idea. hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the same videos.
Yeah.
that was
So
There's
good.
like a mecca of any style.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
there's someone who's specifically trained in doing every one little thing you can imagine.
Mhm.
That's the issue with Instagram now, as far as giving you that like, I'm not good enough complex, because you look at
Oh,
you look at too many of these things and you're like, oh, I
Oh,
should
I know.
specialize in that.
But
This
this
guy's
is-
gone so far in the rabbit
that's
hole
why
in this
I
type
really,
of flower.
really
and
hate
this guy's
Instagram as a marketing platform for art because
yeah.
in this city you can't really afford to specialize like that.
Well, we're getting there.
Yeah.
But like, here's what I mean. So if you go to Calgary, you can be
Oh,
that.
you mean
that-
whatever you want.
You can be that guy who does one thing every day, all day.
So I've been
No,
drawing.
you can't.
For the most part.
Not in Calgary.
I've been drawing these.
It really depends as to what that thing is.
Well,
if you're
like-
going to be the one guy that does a thing that's popular,
Sarah has a tattoo on her stomach and one on her arm here. They're
Mhm.
both done by the same guy.
Mhm.
And he has a very, very clear style.
Yep.
And the only thing he changed for her was he didn't use colors.
Mm.
But like, he does those tattoos all the time. They
Yep.
have a very, very specific look. And it's not that no one else does that style. It's just that, like, so
he
Rick
only does
or
that.
someone who's been tattooing a long time could probably ape that style and do
Yeah.
something similar. But this is all he does
Mm.
every day. And people come to him specifically for that. And in that shop, there's like 5 high-end artists. The girl who did Craig's back
Yep.
works there.
It's Greg
crap. Yeah,
And
she's very-
everyone that works there just does like one style.
That's right.
And that's all they do. And they're busy. They're
Oh,
booked
yeah.
out for months. And
Oh,
they're
goodness.
so you're
expensive as
talking
fuck.
about the high end of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, you can't just go say, oh, I'm just going to specialize in this and be successful at it. You have
No,
to be
no, no.
great at it.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, here, if you were just to try and do that one style, like
Yeah.
Scott's
Yeah,
gonna
we-
open up shop and just do that
I'm
tattoo.
gonna open
Yeah.
up shop and just do neotrad roses.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out of
So it
customers
forces you
in a month.
into
Well, you're going to be pushed, like, down in your creativity,
That's
unfortunately.
right.
Like,
Whereas
like,
in Calgary, if I'm doing just neotrad flowers,
Yeah.
I could keep that going.
yeah.
I could do that full time.
Well, you see that with like I mean, probably don't name names, but the guy that was here.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was in a place where he would love to be doing big things,
Yeah.
big complicated situations, and
Yep.
like big pieces and layouts and things like that. But in his particular style, it's marketed to a specific style of person who
Yep.
only has a specific style of money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really hard if you're in a genre of tattooing that isn't associated with higher dollar value. So like
But-
you're
but
in
he-
black and gray
But
realism.
he marketed himself into that corner.
Yeah,
You know,
because
by,
it seemed like that-
by not charging enough, by getting into that style too deeply.
well, not to mention saying yes when it should have been a no.
See, whereas I'm openly going, oh yeah, I'm starting, $1,000 a day. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And the more you just inch toward that goal one at a time,
Mm.
now you're pushing for a certain genre of clientele.
Yeah.
That's gonna keep you fatter and happier.
Well, it's like the dude who did my shin piece
Yep.
out of Edmonton. Similar problem. Like he's so good
Mm-hmm.
at that thing, but that specific style is quite fast.
Yep.
So it puts you into a price bracket that's a little lower. He's
s-
in a higher bracket than the
Yeah.
other guy, but
Yeah.
it's like you have to find like the reason that Scrag Pie does so well
Yeah.
because she does almost entirely back pieces.
That's
Oh, I
right.
know.
Well, and
Like-
she's probably
Yeah,
$400 an hour.
Oh,
She-
easily.
She does well.
Those,
because she's an
guys are
incredible
all
artist.
those guys
Yeah.
are all like out of this world expensive.
But
When
I'm
I
so-
went up there with Sarah when she got her tattoo,
Mhm.
I'm not no shade at all.
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
of course.
Like
'Cause
the
they're
market
incredible-
will bear
They're-
what it will
and they're
bear.
incredible artists. We're not here.
But like
throwing shit,
like
for
I
sure.
was amazed at how that place runs and how expensive everything is.
Yep.
Like it's like you're in a different world than anywhere in this city. There's
Yeah.
nowhere in this city that has
Dude, people
that.
think we're expensive.
And we're saying that.
but
sitting
like
in one of
there's
the most expensive
nowhere
shops
in this
town.
city that has that flavor.
no.
Trust me.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
It is a different thing.
Well, that's where like I want to aim at that personally. I
Yeah.
love that vibe.
But obviously a different aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right? like they
Um,
have a very gothy kind of
Yeah.
Mhm.
like
Moody.
rustic too though. Like it's really weird. It's a cool look.
Mm.
But like yeah, I see what you mean. You want to be like a high end shop. Right.
Well, I think producing the best work that you can do
mm-hmm.
is important, and I think like being able to charge of a rate that enables you to produce your highest level of art is important.
But like, here's where I want to go with this. It's like the guy who did her tattoo. It's a really cool tattoo in that style. But what I think is, if he were to go into like some kind of like an ink master thing,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Oh, you get shut down.
yeah, he'd be
Yeah.
in fucking
Yeah.
trouble because he hasn't
Yeah.
done anything else in a
Yeah.
long time.
Oh man, I've said to Rick numerous times. I was like,
He'd
dude,
be-
do you want to just go win that?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He'd be
Because
the
like
guy.
Rick
he
is the
can do
jack
all
of all
of that.
trades.
Mhm.
His old shop was appropriately named.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
The only problem that he would run into is that he's not going to sacrifice for time.
That's right.
Yeah, he likes
he
to take
could
his
give
time
a
to
shit
get things
about
done.
rushing something.
That's right.
Well, it depends on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because like when he did that Witch King on the back of my thigh, like that was like 6 sessions.
Yeah.
And it's like a $3,500 tattoo or something.
Woo!
But there's so much detail packed
That's
into
the
that thing.
That's the thing.
And that this chess piece he did the same thing with. Like he laid it out very procedurally.
We
Mhm.
don't get 6 sessions in Ink Master.
No, fuck
No,
no.
you get 4 hours.
Yeah.
But
That's
like
insane.
for my blackouts, he's gotten faster
Mhm.
and faster and faster and faster. And it's darker and more consistent than it was when he started.
Yeah.
Dude, I've noticed
Yeah.
an overall increase in his color work in terms of speed.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since he started doing more like quicker with you
Yeah.
in terms of putting the color in. Like
Wow.
he did this big watercolor thigh piece on this girl in 2 hours flat. And it
Well-
was one of those like, what?
Well, he's normally a 7 mag guy.
Yeah.
When this has him using a bigger grouping.
27, yeah.
So now he's probably pulling out the 15 and the 17 and color packing with those,
Mm.
going, oh, it's of course it's easier to get
Well,
hmm
smooth saturation.
when we did
but-
that first session on my ankle, my left ankle, I was like, man, this is going to be a long year.
Yeah.
Because, like, we started out moving really slow.
Yeah. I remember.
I think it's here for that. You're doing little bands,
And I was like,
little bands around.
yeah.
what have I gotten myself into? Because now I've opened up a can of worms because I got this patch of black over old tattoos.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
really making any kind of sense. And I'm like, I'm watching him and I wasn't like I was like pitying him or like
No,
anything
no.
like that. Or me, or like I
Well,
was
because
not.
he's tattoo godfather. It's not like you're
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah,
down on him
no,
in any
nothing like
way.
that. It's
No.
just I've been used to Lee that has known my skin for years,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he's been whipping that black out like quick.
hmm
And like we would have done this whole section of my leg in that same time,
Mhm.
Yep.
and then we get this much done, and I'm like, it's never gonna
Okay.
be the same.
End of an era.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is what I'm in for. So, but I was committed to it either way.
Yeah.
But I watched his sections get bigger.
Yep.
Bigger and bigger, and not just bigger, but darker and more consistent over time.
And then he got more bold with doing. Okay, I'll do a hand and an elbow and over here.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
he's
he
getting
got
real
less, he
quick
got less
now.
scared to bounce around and do a few things.
Yeah,
I
because
think
at
there's-
first it was like we have to do just this
that's
one
right.
thing.
Well, I remember
and
that.
now we're
First-
doing like 3 different areas in one session,
That's
and
the
I'm
trick.
already there. Like
Yeah, yeah.
for taking it,
Of course.
I'm good with like all over. We can do like anything.
And your body's gonna have an easier time healing 3 medium-sized pieces versus 1 extra large-size piece.
Well, the only danger with that is me and Lee were getting too comfortable with that,
Yeah.
and then we would go too far. Because there was one day when I went home and I was so like my body was like almost in shock.
Yeah.
Even though mentally I was good, we did a 4.5-hour session because Lee had a cancellation.
Yep.
And for anyone who doesn't know,
That's 12 hours.
with Lee, that is too much.
Yeah.
That's 12 hours with someone
But
else.
with Lee, that's a back piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do a
4.5
back
hours is
piece
a back
there.
piece.
Yeah, he and I talked about that at one point in time. If it's the right thing, he could do a back piece in 4 hours.
Yeah, if you wanted a cliff edge with a couple of wolves howling at a big moon and a big night sky,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
he can do that in like 4 hours.
Yeah, so I went home that day and I was like pale and queasy, and I was
Mhm.
like, I don't feel so good. And then all of a sudden just starts throwing up.
Ugh.
And there was nothing wrong with the tattoo either.
Welcome to
Like I was,
shock.
my body was just done.
Yeah.
There's an image of that day that I love because I'm wrapped in Sanoderm from like
Yeah, your whole torso.
my whole torso and this whole arm
Yeah.
is wrapped in Sanoderm.
Yeah. How long did that
Ugh.
stay on?
Oh, not long.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Oh,
whole
that's
left
gross.
side of my body is wrapped in Sanoderm.
Ugh.
See, that's where when I get these questions of like sleeve in a day or back piece in a session or leg sleeve or like any of these or like, oh, can I do like 3 sits? Like, come on. Like
Yeah.
you have to understand how your biology is as
Yeah.
well. Like you can do a lot to your body with tattooing, especially if it's in the right
But
style.
some of these things are like getting into a motorcycle accident.
Oh
like,
my word!
Yeah.
Yeah, you get into a place where your body can't, because you have to be pumping new
Yeah.
blood to the area to get it to heal. Like
And your body needs, if there's gonna be contaminants reach that
Yeah.
fresh wound, your body needs to be strong enough to fight off
Yeah, that's the
extra
other thing.
contaminants. Your body needs to be
I
ready
talk
to
about
heal.
this in a recent vlog that I did where I'm like, I think that blackout should be done almost later into your tattoo journey. I don't think that this trend that people are starting that way
Well,
is good.
It seems counterfeit compared to your way.
Well, it's not even that, oh, I'm a badass and I've earned it. Like, it's not coming
Well,
from
no.
that. It's that it's a different level of appreciation for aftercare
Yeah.
and, like, you're knowing your body and the signs to watch for
Now
and
that
shit.
said, if I put a neotrad stamp on you, that area of fully saturated and blended color and lines is worked harder than your blackout.
It's you're right. It is because of the lining and all the different layers.
and yeah, it's
but,
the blending too.
Like,
yeah, the
I'm
viscosity
talking
of
like
ink too changes.
Like if you go and you get like a whole half sleeve blackout or more than a half sleeve
it's
blackout,
a lot more trauma than if I give you a half sleeve black and gray.
this is where I was talking about. Trendy tattoos have always been a thing. I just did a vlog about this, and you're never going to change that because people are like, I hate this blackout trend. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but trendy tattoos have always been a thing.
Yeah, of course.
Like we've had watercolor trend, we've had neo-trad trend, we've had tramp stance,
tree
tree.
cuffs, tramp
The problem with
stamps.
blackouts as a trend, and there is a fucking problem with blackouts as a trend, is you can do something about a tramp stamp a lot easier than you can do something about a blackout
you can't
sleeve.
cover that blackout.
and a
you
lot of
can
people don't do anything about the tramp stamp though. It's
But
crazy.
you can like we're finding out that you can do some things over black, but they're not going to be that striking.
No.
And they're not going to be easy.
Yep.
And you're in it for life if you want to do something about that blackout. You have to be a guy like me that is living that
Yeah,
lifestyle
you're going to get tattooed all the time.
and you enjoy it because like a lot of people will be like, "Will that stay?" Like, and when they'll ask that question, what I'm hearing is, "I only want to do this once."
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Well, that's what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do this more than once.
Mhm.
And if you're getting into this kind of thing, you have to do it more than once.
Yeah, big time.
So it's not a good trend. That needs to not be a trend for people to go, I want to get my first tattoo and I want to get a black arm, but I want to have a star in the center here.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
no, that's not a trend. Like, that's commitment. You're in for commitment. And I feel the same way about face tattoos.
I mean, now that you say it so succinctly, all tattoo trends seem nonsense and bullshit. Because like this is permanent. You know that, right?
Well, I say this tongue in cheek because, like, I know that when I'm saying it, I'm sitting here with black sleeves, right? But I think it's fine for me to say it that way because I've been doing body mods for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's clear that I don't give a shit if it falls out of favor. Like, my piercer told me the facial piercing boom was 2004. Like,
Oh,
after
wow.
that, not so many have been done, and they haven't been as big or interesting. I've been wearing them
Your answer is
the whole time. Like, I never stopped. I kept going. So for me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter to me to get my first face tattoo because I already had a throat piece. It didn't matter to me to get my first throat tattoo because I already had facial piercings forever. So like your talk about seeing your mom with the face tattoo.
Oof, it would
When
not go well.
Well, when I seen my mom with my face tattoos, it didn't go well either. But it wasn't the surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I built this pretext.
yeah.
Yep.
Like it's defined my life. So everything I know is built around I look weird or I look different. So I'll get people to be like, "Has getting your face tattoo changed your life in any way or like hurt you?" Or, well, no, because those doors were closed already.
Yeah.
Those doors have never been open for me. I have never had those doors open once in my adult
Like I
life.
started here.
Yeah, I started from the position of some doors are closed.
Yeah.
And then you build your whole perception of the world with that in mind. Okay, I look like this, so I have these possibilities.
At the same time, like, so when I was out in Kelowna at one point in time, Lee was tattooing this guy.
Yeah.
And he and I got to talking. He's very wealthy.
Yeah.
And he and I were talking about the fact that he had to keep everything so that if he's doing a business meeting, if he's selling a company, because he's just like, he negotiated a $4 billion deal with some company before he did this session or whatever. And he said he needs to make sure that nobody knows that he is covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
Just because he's young and he doesn't want to be taken not seriously in these situations.
Yeah.
But I really am confused as to how long it will take to where that's not a thing.
You need more guys like me sticking candy canes through their nose so that guys like him having a throat tattoo don't look so bad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because like I really hate, and this is gonna sound really elitist of me, but I hate people who are like, I've got a full body suit, but they don't have their throat tattooed. They don't have their hands tattooed. And it's not that I don't understand why. It's just that you haven't done your due diligence yet. And having a full body suit means pushing some boundaries for me. It means you're living with your tattoos.
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to hide them anymore. Like, I know why people do it, but you're not part of the full bodysuit club until you've taken certain steps.
Yeah.
For my taste. You can say you have a lot of tattoos. You're heavily tattooed. I'm cool with that.
So
you don't know everything yet if you don't have certain things yet because you're hiding your tattoos. You don't know how the world's going to interact with them yet. Or you're ashamed or you're afraid of that. I don't think that that's the same thing.
I will say, like, when I go and try and do business dealings or whatever, I am happier when they have tattoos.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
and you see it more and more.
Yeah. Well, the lawyer that we met with was covered in tattoos.
Nice.
And did you think, oh, I can't trust this guy? Look at
no, as
he's
soon
a vagrant.
It was a she, but like
she's a vagrant.
She's a vagrant. No, my first thing was like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
This you relax.
A real person.
This is a person.
You relax. It becomes, oh, I can identify with this.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I guess then it's just got to be a matter of people that are young and tattooed need to get more successful so that they're forced into these situations with people that are non-tattooed. And because
of
their
thing right now, how do young people become successful?
Twitch.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the real podcast.
Twitch and TikTok.
Yep.
That's
Twitch
how we
and
get.
TikTok are the big two. And Instagram is terrified of TikTok.
Before we leave the obvious tattoos conversation, a couple weeks ago I tattooed, you guys were both here, I think. I tattooed some face tattoos on a client of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after, we still have a big session after the face tattoos. So we went out to grab some lunch and we walked into the pita pit around the corner. And when we walked in, the guy ordering ahead of us was like also heavily tattooed. He had like throat tattoos and hand tattoos and shit. And you could tell the second Jordan walked in there that there was like chemistry between those two. You're like, oh shit, these guys fucking see each other. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's something to speak to the open, obvious tattoo thing. That culture's built there, and you could see that they were giving each other respect regarding their super obvious fucking tattoos.
Yeah.
You get both of those because you also get some animosity too.
Oh yeah.
Like there's people in this city that you'll see them with their tattoos and they're wearing them almost like they're a weapon.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's not that.
It super isn't.
It's not that. Calm down. You're not a fucking badass.
Yeah.
You like what you like, same as anyone else. Like I took some Christmas gifts to my coworker I bring up quite often, my buddy Vince, because we're friends beyond work.
Yeah.
Like I really deeply respect this guy. You would never assume we'd be friends. Like you would never assume this. He's a bigger boy. He loves anime. He eats chicken. He hangs out online. This is this guy's interests,
his
right?
General MO.
He loves anime and video games and stuff. But we're great friends, and I would not be ashamed to be seen with him. There is a certain variety of tattoo person who only wants to be seen with other tattoo people. Where it's like, these are my cool friends. Look at my group. It's like,
those are the same
why
people
don't you just
taking
be a
selfies
human
and
being?
posting them all the time.
Well,
I've got a buddy who's always pulling that.
But like I go into his
Killing me,
house,
man.
right? He's got anime figures everywhere and like anime posters everywhere, and it's like wall to wall coverage. And I see this as, oh, this is my tattoos. Like that's my connection.
Yeah.
Like that's how I view tattoos.
Hobby and interest.
Yeah. And he never liked tattoo stuff
Mhm.
before he met me. Like he has no, and he still doesn't want any, but like he found it not, he didn't quite understand it.
Yeah.
But now he identifies it like he identifies his stuff that he
Yeah.
collects, right? Because I've pitched it to him like, this is my collection, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what I do, and this is what you do, and it's the same thing.
Mhm.
And I think that the people who wear it like it's their whole identity, that irritates the fuck out of me. You can be a human being and be tattooed.
Well, this speaks to a larger
You don't have to be a
societal
fucking
ill.
edgy little bastard.
Because there are so many people right now who think that they should define themselves by one thing, whether
Mhm.
it's their truck, their job, their sports car, their nifty house, whatever it is, that one hobby they're really into. You know, they're super into running, so all their
Yeah.
clothes are runner clothes, all their friends are runner people, all their whatever, right?
Yeah.
Our society tends to lead us down that goat trail of like, oh, there's
Does.
one thing you like, you can just identify with this, and you're
And our
safe here. You're
media
safe
feeds
in this little bubble.
almost ensure that we do
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I push back against it as much as I
Well,
can.
because it's so important in today's weird simplification society to connect with people and actually be real humans
Yeah.
beyond these superficial activities or things that can define us and consume us, when that's not what we are. I love to snowboard. I shred snowboarding. I get out there. I throw
Sure.
the fuck down. But I don't.
But to look
identify
at
as
you,
that.
I could assume you've never touched a snowboard.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
And
I've
I
never
like
men-
that fact.
I've never mentioned it once. This is my first time mentioning to you that that's a huge interest, a huge passion for me.
Yeah.
But I don't let it define me. That's not who I am.
It's like people could look at me and go, "Oh, you must be a Satanist or something, or
Yeah.
this thing, that thing," and then I'm sitting here wearing a fucking Christmas hat.
Meanwhile, you're like, no, I
I
cook
just-
for a living, and I
yeah.
mostly care about my son.
Yeah. I'm just like almost just like a regular ass dude that
Yeah.
just likes this stuff.
Exactly.
Like I have no weird dark tendencies at all, none to speak of. And my wife, she is a Satanist as a religious thing, but I even found that irritating because like I don't like it's fine that she is, like I don't have any real aggression towards it, but like I found it annoying because like I don't identify with anything.
Mhm.
Like if she was Christian, I'd find that annoying too. But I'm just really like too gray to commit to any of that stuff.
Mhm.
Well, it's so. I think the difficulty is that that's another definer,
Yeah, I don't like boxes.
and like
Don't
just in
like-
general, I like it when
I
things
don't
come in
like
bags.
being
That's right.
I don't like being stuck in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trapped in a box. So like we have a
It's too
weird thing.
limiting, you know?
Well, we have a weird thing about us, right? Like I always thought that the movie Castaway should have done a better thing for us socially,
Hmm.
because that is a
on.
good example of a guy who had everything in his life that defined him ripped away.
Yeah.
And I always think about this thing of like the idea of me can't be things.
Yeah, for starters.
It can't be.
Who
it
are
can't
you
really
without
belief
things?
structures, because like it's not fair to have a belief structure almost entirely based on where you were born.
No, no, goodness.
Like nobody has choice when it comes to where they're born in the area of the world. Nobody has any like agency over that element. So it's like if you start taking all these things that define you, like even snowboarding,
Yeah.
you're not a snowboarder in Ecuador.
No, sure, no,
So
sure I'm not.
all of a sudden you're not Scott the snowboarder.
Nah.
You're Scott
Yeah.
This is
in Ecuador.
something
Yeah.
that I do all the time. It's a mental game. Who are you without any of your things?
Exactly.
And I know who I am very well without any of my things. I have a very, very good idea of who I am.
Yeah.
And that's why I can say if I was born in the 1950s, I wouldn't look like I do today.
No.
However,
You'd find some other way
I would
to
find I would
express-
be the rebel of that time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that is not attached to any one thing that I'm wearing today.
But you're not even a rebel at the root of the word.
No.
You found your ways to rebel.
But like
just
the
like
flavoring,
that's right.
the
that's right,
flavor
to
will
spice it
change
up.
depending on where you are
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when you are. and everything else is you're not committed to that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not committed to wearing this hat every day.
Yeah.
You know, if without this hat, I don't lose myself. I don't lose myself without blackout tattoos.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me. Without them, I'm still the guy I am.
I had some really fun moments in my life like this where I got face to face with, oh, it's just me,
Yeah.
and where do I find my way from here?
I had a few of those.
one of the best
Which drug?
examples. Well, one of the best examples was post the druggy phase. I was living in Australia in this campground in this crazy little tent city
Scott's
called Jungle.
traveling.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we're doing an actual travel story? Let's do that. So I was living for 6 months in this
Working on escalators.
super incredible little hippie campground thing. And it's like a long-term stay situation. So you build a family. There's a family of maybe 75 people who've been there for quite some time. And there's lots of psychedelics.
They call this a cult.
Very much a weed culture. We have our beach parties and stuff. I had a day job at the time as well, and an incredible girlfriend I was super in love with, and I was leaving the area. I was dropping her off at the airport in Brisbane, and she was going to fly to Southeast Asia somewhere, and I was going fully across Australia. I was going to drive all the way across Australia to meet my buddy for a big road trip. So here I am, leaving my whole community behind. I drive away. I drop my partner off, and the next day I set out on the road, and now I'm ultimately alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's myself, a 1992 beat up ass camper van, driving across Australia, trying not to hit all the kangaroos.
Yeah.
And suddenly this like deep feeling of aloneness and the fact that you're finding your way through the universe alone. It's just you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that was a really fun feeling because everything was chipped away. That
Isn't it
community you
amazing?
identified
Like,
with, all those relationships are just not here right now.
like it takes different events for different people to get to that point.
That's right.
Because like
Some people never get to it.
some
No.
people would be fine with that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be, but
Mhm.
like it takes different levels and different situations to get you to face yourself.
To put it in context, 6 months prior, I showed up in Australia with no van and no community. I was just, wow, I'm on a new continent, and I don't have a plan. Here we are.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's bold.
That's what you do.
I mean, like,
That's what you do.
yeah, that's what you do. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
That's one of those, like, when I look at the way that our society kind of is shaped, and the things that get popularized and things like that, like branding oneself, and I think it's also what causes people to be so hurt when pieces of them go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
When a-
Attachment, man.
When a
Yeah.
politician does something stupid.
Well, this is one of my
when Trump
default.
fails, yeah.
Because like politically, I'm not a real lefty anymore. Because that's changed, right? Like I still feel like I'm a lefty, but
Left looks different.
it
now.
looks different now. But anyway, I'll get attacked on TikTok by the right almost obsessively. Like, and it'll always be guys with like Trump 2020 or all.
Because even though you're less left, you're still super not right.
Well, I'm not, but like I'll get attacked by these guys for the way I look all the time, right?
Mhm.
And they'll always be like, I guess Trump's not your president, and blah blah blah, like all that kind of stuff. I bet you were a Biden Harris supporter.
Like, first of all, I'm in Canada. I'm
Yeah.
not the president here.
Well, yeah, but Americans
I know.
are always very obsessed with themselves. It seems
Mhm.
like they always think that their country is the only country in the fucking world.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway,
Well, they've got ultimate identity narcissism.
Oh,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like they
it's-
can't even imagine that you could be from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But my
Well,
answer
because
is like,
the world kind of watches them.
And they somehow get terrorist acts from foreign countries, and they still don't understand that they've done so many bad things that other people dislike them.
Well, but they can't be not the hero,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like,
Well, we
introspection in that respect.
were a hero to them, and now they're terrorizing us. They're the bad guys.
Yeah.
But,
you killed their dad.
my response to these guys with the Trump 2020 like profile pictures and stuff is always like, hey, your boy lost. Maybe it's time to make your whole identity about someone else.
Oh, dude, did you
Identity
see what he
politics.
said last night?
I've
that
seen a
means?
bit of
Who,
he's
Trump?
trying to get
Yeah.
the fucking election results blocked or something again.
Still?
Oh man,
There's always
what he
something.
said, and I think this is just a like. I'm very interested to see if he'll pull the trigger on it. But he had a very subtle mentioning to him just taking over, like martial law.
Yeah, I've heard about him doing this, but
Because he basically said that if Congress can't pass a bill, he said maybe the next administration will just have to do it, and the next administration will be me.
He means after Biden, clearly.
No,
I don't. I think
No, he does
I think
not.
it's all theater.
I think
Of
he'll
course.
declare a state of
Nah,
emergency
I-
in which he enacts martial law, in which case he could
I think we're
force
getting
through a bill.
into theatrics now, and I
Yeah.
think that this is. I think he's done a deal with Biden where it's like,
Nah.
hear me out.
Pardon him.
No, well maybe, but like I think it's almost like I'm leaving. We both know I'm leaving, but
Mm.
I'm building this so that I can run again in 2024.
If I'm Trump, I wouldn't have been president because what insane person does that?
Right?
But I'd be going to an island. Just go to an island, relax.
I
did
don't
it.
know.
You went through 4 years of hell.
So sure, maybe he doesn't run again, but he's building something with this.
I don't
His
know.
Trump TV or something.
I don't know. I think whatever his plans were for success got royally screwed with this virus.
Well, for
Like
sure.
whatever
well,
whatever his intention
it's like I
was.
said to my brother Dave, like, hey, you can have whatever opinion you want of Trump. Not his biggest fan, but I'm
Yeah.
not his worst critic either.
Yeah.
No one was gonna win with
No.
coronavirus.
No. That's where
you
like
got handed a flaming bag of dog shit.
yeah, good luck.
Have fun.
Even like Trudeau is up for re-election here soon.
And everybody hates how he handled it too.
But he did it all right.
he
to be
did all
honest.
right, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You let this thing happen on your watch. You're always going to be painted with that brush.
Yeah, exactly. No one's numbers are going up
Yeah.
during coronavirus.
Yeah. It's
Because
like
Trump's approval rating was actually climbing before.
well, his approval rating's still 49%,
Wow.
which is insane.
More people love him than hate him, I feel like.
I still think if you look at his stuff on paper as to what he's actually done, it's actually pretty good. It weirdly enough, I don't know if that's him doing it
Well,
or
the
if that's
problem
someone
is
else.
the problem is that there's the term is Trump derangement syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like it doesn't matter if he did something good or not.
Yeah, it's got to be bad.
It's got to be bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't want to
Yeah.
be painted with that brush, but like if the man put out a fire and
Yeah.
saved children,
Yeah.
the
it'd be-
media would have found a way to
Well, why
spin
was
it
there a
against it.
fire?
Yeah.
That was Trump.
Well, Trump got the fire started, so he just did that so that he could be the hero.
Yeah.
It's like no. Sometimes people you
greenhouse
don't.
gases were emitted
Here's
from that
here's
fire.
a difficult concept for people to think. Sometimes people you don't like are capable of doing good things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And sometimes people that you do like are capable of bad things.
Absolutely.
That's an even
Hey,
more
it's
important thing to
amazing.
remember.
That people we don't like can still actually turn out to do the right thing sometimes.
Yeah.
And we can still, just because the right thing doesn't have results that we like, doesn't mean it's the wrong thing
It's the
overall.
the
Just
way
means
that
that side won that one.
it's the way of there's more than one way to make an omelet, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
more than one way to crack an egg. Like it's the same thing. There's more than one road to take to a result that
Yeah.
works. Like I get this a lot with people asking me about like stretching questions or like tattoo healing. That's another
Yeah.
one because I've healed in many different ways over the years.
Yep.
And I've had a lot of different success with a lot of different tattoo healing methods. And people are like, "What's the right way to heal tattoo?" I don't
Depends on
know.
who you
There's
are.
a million, and
Yeah.
it depends on your own body. And
Depends on the climate you're in.
Yeah,
Depends on where
yeah.
in your body it is.
Yep.
Depends on what you're doing for work tomorrow.
Depends
one
on what
thing
you
I
eat, depends
don't
on what you
like,
drink.
I had a guy message me yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, I want to ask your advice on something because you had a long tattoo journey." I get like 10 of these a day for different things. I had a guy asking me about lip stretching this morning, for example. But he's like, he asked me this question about he has a piece of his wrist is falling out, like it's not saturated. And he's not an English speaking guy, so he's translating all of it. So I was having a hard time explaining to him that it just wasn't saturated.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
you
"Well,
gotta
what's
tattoo
wrong?"
it
Like,
better.
I have red here, but there's no red here. And he's like, my artist told me it's because that area, there's a lot of movement. I'm like, well, that's only partially true.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't apply it correctly.
Mhm.
You can get that touched up. He's like, oh, I told him that. And then he told me that he would have to touch the whole thing up. And I was like, yeah, he probably will. And then he's like, oh, well, I don't know if I can fix it or not. Maybe I can do another tattoo in there, but maybe that'll fall out too. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to tell you this, but your artist is either not good enough or he's bullshitting you or like, I hate when people will give me these stories and their artist is telling them, oh, it's your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's your fault that it fell out. It was your aftercare. It was this thing. It's that. No. Like, I've had a tattoo infection in my hand and arm, and after that infection, I still had ink in there.
Yep.
Because it was properly saturated.
It takes very specific error on the healing end of things to ruin a tattoo.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, big time. If a tattoo is in in a normal, this is a pretty normal area.
Yeah.
If it was the side of the hand,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
that's
That could
on
be
you.
gone.
That's on you for needing a tattoo there.
Yeah.
You know, the artist can do their best. If they're not a palm artist, then chances are that's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Even still, it drives me nuts when people do that because it's like those two tissues are gonna widen differently.
It's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, like if you're trying to do some sort of script here, it's like,
You're-
okay, the bottom's gonna be blurry.
I just
You're
wanted
planning a
to
3-session tattoo.
talk to this guy's artist and be like, why are you telling this guy this?
well, there's a
And
lot
now
of
he's asking me, and he's treating me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I have my wrist saturated many, many times.
yeah.
It is not your fault.
Mm-mm.
A wrist can take ink. Like, he's
that-
trying to convince this guy that a wrist can't
I've
take
tattooed
ink.
lots of people here. Trust me, this is harder.
But, like, he's trying to convince this guy that a wrist can't be saturated.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
there's
I
a-
can barely comprehend what I'm hearing.
There's
Now,
a
if
lot
this-
of areas of the world that are just getting tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially in like Middle East countries, that like the tattooers are just coming into the fray, and there's a lot of really inexperienced artists that are just starting out. Like you see that a lot on Instagram, where it's like you'll see people wiping with their bare hand,
Ooh.
and it's like I'm just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god, someone needs to be there helping.
Yeah. Someone needs to
Okay,
stop this.
Now
Yeah,
that we're talking
really.
about new artists, I'm gonna see if I can't find a picture I got sent this morning by a new apprentice here in town.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Where? Maybe it was on. Must have been on Messenger.
But yeah, there's more than one correct way to heal tattoos.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
the base. And when people ask me for my preferred method, I almost don't want to tell them. I just want to be like, look, you need to just figure this out. You need more experience.
yeah.
Right? Until then, do what your artist says. Because there's a million different ways to heal properly.
Oh, it's not that guy. It's a different guy.
What the hell is that?
I got a picture of someone
Is that a Grinch?
trying to do some stuff at home, and the answer is, don't try to tattoo yourself at home.
I just had a girl message. I don't know what that is. A shark?
I'm assuming that's a shark.
I had a girl
I
message
fucking
me
hope
the other
not.
day. She's been struggling with this blackout that this guy did on her that's not good, and he won't fix it. And then she asked a very famous black worker to do it for her, and he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't like fixing blackouts.
No, it's hard.
So she's fucked. So now her answer to this is,
What is it?
it's like,
That reminds me, a
Sure.
buddy of mine ordered, this was a while ago, but a buddy of mine ordered a bunch of tattoo equipment, started tattooing himself in his basement a long time ago. And
Step
he-
one, get your design right.
dude, he has the funniest video on YouTube of him tattooing himself drunk. He does a Sailor Jerry's while drinking Sailor Jerry's. And it's just like he has no stencil. He has a drawing of a Sailor Jerry bird, and the very first thing he does a line on his thigh, and he just goes brrr, and he's like, "Whoa, that's not good." But he does the whole thing, start to finish, like color, everything, just hammered. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And that's not even the worst tattoo he did on himself.
well, this girl with her arm, she's like, I've decided that since I can't get anyone to fix this thing, my husband did a few tattoos when he was in jail, so we're just going to order tattoo equipment, and he's going to do it. I was like,
Oh boy.
Oh,
Wow.
man, you're just gonna make this worse. But I can't
Amazon
tell.
shouldn't be selling.
I
tattoo
can't
shoes.
tell
Well,
anyone
obviously.
no. Like I'm not the
Or
authority.
fake ink.
Yeah.
Like I told her, I was like, well, all I can say is take it slow because this is harder than it seems.
Here's a public service announcement for the camera, for the people. Do not order your ink
No.
from eBay or Amazon or whatever. China is making fake brand name ink that is perfectly labeled to look like the real thing,
Yeah.
and you cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's a third of the price. If it's too cheap to be real
is
ink,
bad.
it is not real ink.
Yeah.
It is Chinese garbage you don't want in your skin.
And real tattoo suppliers, they make sure that you are a tattooer. Like you can't just be a
But if you're buying
person.
crap for your house,
Yeah.
make a fake account, get it, whatever. Just
So-
do not put shit
It's-
fake ink
yeah.
in someone's body.
It's a tough thing to tell people because they always know that one person that's like, well, this person started out tattooing themselves,
Yeah.
and now look how good they are.
Mhm.
It's like, yes, that can happen,
Yeah.
but guess how many other people just bought tattoo shit and now it's sitting in a shed like all that fucking fitness equipment you thought you were going to
Wait
use.
for it.
All
Wait
that,
for it.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead and
here we
tattoo
go,
yourself
yeah.
at home, people.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
But people do this with blackout because they're like, well, it's just black.
Oh, dude.
It's not though. You're gonna
You-
fucking scar the hell out of your skin.
Okay, well let's do black saturation
Oh
too
man,
then. Ready
I've
for
seen
it?
so many.
Want some black
I
saturation in
think
there?
that's blue.
That's
Three
not what you're
crosses,
supposed to think.
three
I think that's
crosses,
bruising.
He just
Oh,
showed
bruising.
another blackout that he had to fix the other day, and it looked like it was just like murky gray scars.
Ugh.
It's like this whole armband of like.
If we're gonna
foam.
talk about tattooing at home, let's just put this
Oh,
That's a
good lord.
PSA.
right in front of the camera.
Yeah. It's like, I guess that's kind of like a lot of different areas. I mean, we are in a medical field technically, and like we're changing the body.
Well, you can hurt someone
Yeah.
if you pull out a 3-liner with some cheap Chinese ink
Yeah.
and you start running too deep, you can kill someone. Like you can fucking kill someone.
Oh yeah.
Like let's get straight right now.
Yeah.
Like if you're running cheap garbage ink and you pull out a 3-liner, you can go too deep.
Oh yeah.
You can blast through all the layers of skin and
So,
go right into blood vessels.
If you were to open up shop in your basement, do
Yeah.
that 3-liner and not sterilize anything with cheap ink, and you tattooed like 15 people in a row,
Mhm.
could they class you as a serial killer?
Ooh.
If they all died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a serial killer.
Yeah,
What does he
but I
do?
think
He
that-
tattoos them with cheap ink in his basement. Next thing you know, they're all dead.
But I think that would be like, what is that?
But see, if
manslaughter.
if that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
now,
Which is
third
way
degree
more
murder.
crazy of a word.
I know! How is
Manslaughter.
that third degree? You would think that fucking manslaughter is you killed them with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
laughter is literally in the word.
Yeah.
Well, how did he kill him? He caved his head in with a fucking shovel.
He slaughtered.
That's what you think of when you hear manslaughter.
Now,
He slaughtered him, Your Honor.
Now, if you
Meanwhile, all it is a car accident.
if I put
Yeah.
arsenic in that ink, now it's first-degree murder.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it could be sad. Nope.
That's
No,
first
that's
degree.
first- yeah.
that is intentional.
You-
yeah,
First
you
degree
planned.
is death with intent.
Right.
Second degree is
The second you bought that arsenic with the intention of killing somebody, you are a first-degree murderer.
so. First degree murder is I planned to kill Kevin.
Yeah.
Right? I tattooed Kevin with arsenic.
That's
Why
right,
would you
right.
use me as an example?
Specifically
Alright.
Kevin. I tattooed both of you, but
That's
I
right.
only
Well,
planned to
no,
kill
it's
Kevin.
still first degree. If you buy a gun and you buy a gun with the intention of killing someone on the street today, they're a stranger, you didn't know them, but you were planning on killing someone today.
I
You
think
got me
that's
killed,
first degree, but
that's
if you
first
just
degree.
had a gun and
If you had a
you
gun-
got into an argument and
Yes,
shot them,
that's
that's second degree.
If they pulled a gun first, then it's third degree.
I think
Yeah.
If you bring a weapon, it's a different classification.
In Canada, it's
right?
different. In Canada, pointing a gun at someone is a felony.
Yeah, of course.
Like
Which
there's
is
literally,
also why our cops don't do it unless they're about to shoot somebody.
well, cops have a different.
Unless you're a
thing.
stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the only thing, like, if like police reform could start in the States with do not use your firearm as a deterrent. I
Yeah.
hate that they'll pull their guns on unarmed people to get them
Yeah.
to comply. That drives me up the wall.
What about a rubber bullet?
What if you shoot
Well,
them in the arm?
people don't understand. Like
Like,
we're
we-
talking
for
about
starters,
guns, someone pulling a gun on you, and we're just talking about a someone pulls a gun on you, it makes you feel like I might die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like, it's more than just to talk about the potential of it.
That's right.
Because it's a life-threatening incident.
Of course.
This guy could kill me right now.
Mhm.
He has complete control over me.
That's right.
Because people don't know how they're going to react when you realize your life is on the line.
That's right.
Right? It puts you in this weird state.
Yeah.
Plus,
And
Well, survival.
I don't think people should be able to do that whenever they want.
Yeah.
That should
probably
be
not.
very, very strictly.
but if you're setting out to kill someone, a knife is just as effective.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
know?
Well, I
But
mean, that's why in the UK, most police officers, like, they have unarmed units and armed units.
here's the
Oh,
thing
the
about a
army is
knife.
only called
Here's
for
the
army.
thing about a
Yeah.
knife
Yeah.
versus a gun. Okay? I work with knives all the time in the kitchen. We all
Yeah.
have knives at home.
Yeah.
We all use knives to cut up chicken and
Yeah.
eat, right? You don't do that with a gun. Guns are only used for that one purpose.
Yeah.
So when you see a gun,
Hunting.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
when you see a gun, you know the potential to kill.
Yes.
Because even when you're hunting, the potential to kill. A knife is multi-purpose, so it doesn't have that same connotation.
Isn't the most common murder weapon hammers?
I believe so.
Hey,
Because
Siri,
they're
what's the
so
most
readily
common murder
available.
weapon?
Yeah, right?
Everybody has hammer in their
Everybody
house.
got a hammer.
But it's weird. You all have a knife too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Hammer just is like, angrier. Got into a weird space with that one, but
Yeah, I don't know how we got onto this.
But either
Kind of
way,
fun though.
let's not tattoo in your basement. That's a good PSA on this one.
Oh, that's how we got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Murdering with
Somehow we get
cheating.
to killing people with hammers
Yeah.
from,
So
from
it-
tattooing. in the
Podcast
basement.
turns dark pretty easy.
In the U.S., it's first handguns.
well, yeah, in the
You're
US.
in the U.S.
That's
Let's go
not even
worldwide.
fair.
Second,
Dial it down a little, Scott.
firearms, type not stated.
Type
Third,
not stated.
knives.
Is that another way of saying handguns?
Yeah. Well, just indiscriminate gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Handgun.
Rifles are like number 7.
Jesus
Shotguns
Christ.
are number
Okay,
8.
fuck your hammer idea.
Yeah,
Well,
hammers are way down the list, I guess.
Personal weapons are number 5.
What does
Hands,
that
fists,
mean?
feet.
Hands,
Oh, and
fists,
blunt. Okay, well,
Blunt objects.
people kill twice as many people with hands and fists and feet than they do with hammers.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just want to kill someone with a hammer? I think I've heard that statistic, though. I think Rogan
Yeah, right?
mentioned something about that.
I don't know. I guess right. Maybe
Well,
that's
let's do
wrong.
globally. Globally, most common murder.
When you decrease the amount of guns, hammers go up
That's
exponentially.
fair, yeah. Yeah.
The inverse ratio of hammer murders to
Yeah.
gun murders.
So, just because in Canada we don't have many guns, so instead we use hammers.
Yeah. That's like that Chris Rock bit, the
So,
knives
sure.
for guns exchange.
Yeah, our cops don't carry guns, they carry hammers.
Yeah, just different hammers. Got an array of hammers depending on the
Shit, the
situation.
Mounties are here. Watch out for hammers.
If it's
Okay.
a group, they carry sledgehammers.
They ride up on horses in red jackets with fucking hammers, like Mario
Sweet.
style. Like
So-
Hammer Bros.
Yeah.
Europe is 13% guns, 33% sharp objects, and 54% others. So Europe would be the most likely to.
What's making up the rest of that statistic?
right?
Probably hammers.
You see, there's-
70% hammer.
Whatever the scrap, whatever the
They don't even want to list it because people don't need to know.
all the different clue weapons. Those are all the
Oh,
numbers.
sure. Yeah. He was killed with a
Candlestick.
candlestick in the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
It says here that 70% of deaths happen in libraries. I know what I'm guessing next time.
Mustard. I don't understand. It's really weird.
They had
we'll
to get
see.
it
This
somewhere.
This takes some
Europe's
research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Europe's nuts.
Speaking of Europe, did you see the next coronavirus strain?
More contagious.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. It means be scareder and stay
It
home.
means got an R value of 1.23 instead of 1.2.
But I mean, I don't like.
But
I'm
isn't
getting
more
tired.
spreading less
Hey, I'm getting
lethal?
fucking tired of talking about coronavirus.
Oh, dude.
Like I can't. When I heard
Yeah.
that the other day, I was like, ugh,
Yeah.
like out loud, ugh, aggressively. Don't
Mhm.
fucking talk to me about this anymore.
No.
Don't fucking. I don't want to know. It's done enough to my life. I feel like it's bent me over and it's doing me over the sink right now. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's fucking annoying.
I
It's.
mean, that's very visual.
I ended it in the same place I started with coronavirus because when my coworker brought it up to me originally, I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear about it. And that was last December. He was talking about how his packages from Japan were being delayed because of COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to fucking hear about this. This is going to be over in a minute.
Your chance of getting murdered in Europe or Asia is about 8 times less likely
Of course.
than in the Americas. So that's why I felt so much safer traveling in
Is America more than Africa?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But see, this is including Central America too, right?
I wonder how much that's risen.
It would, yeah,
in the last few
the Americas
years.
would be both, would be all 3 continents.
Oh, wow.
Have crime rates in America gone up in the last few years?
I would bloody assume so.
I would think so, but
I
I'm
assume
not
the
sure.
Statistics always trend down in modern societies. It's pretty tough to have.
But like the
Although
way
now,
you
Yeah,
phrase it,
but as soon as you start cutting back, making abortion laws more stringent, then your crime rates go up.
what?
Did you not never read those statistics? The correlation between abortion legalization.
I think that that's
and-
actually true because
Oh, it
more
is, yeah.
children are born that shouldn't have been born.
Well, that's the thing.
See
Is that
families that don't want them.
no, one of the biggest indicators of
That
crime
statement is so
are
crazy.
no.
Yes,
It's
it's
the
true.
most real statement you've
But
ever
no,
heard
I'm
today.
just saying the phrasing of
Yeah.
the children born that shouldn't have been.
That's
That
exactly
should
what it
have
is.
been born.
That's just a wild
And the
statement.
families that can't afford.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the
I
more
know.
children born
And then the parents
in
split up.
families that don't work, because we're talking rape babies.
Yeah,
we're,
yeah.
we're talking crack babies. We're talking all kinds of babies.
And we're
born in
also talking
demographics
parents that don't stay together.
Parents that are already
Yeah.
on the verge of malnutrition. Parents who already are not taking care of themselves. And
There's
not,
a book written about this.
parents whose children will end up in bad foster homes.
What is it? The Decline of the American Family or something? It's where no fathers are there for their kids, and then those kids
Well,
start
that's
to
because
crime.
that's because of the welfare system. Because if you had a man living at home, they wouldn't pay welfare.
Yeah,
So the husband had to move out.
but
in
there's
order for
all
them to
kinds of
qualify for
reasons
welfare.
why some children really just shouldn't exist. Like they shouldn't have happened, and there should almost be like a license for having kids.
I mean,
Okay, China.
Well, no, but it's true. Like, there's just so many kids that are born that it's
That's
like this
such a-
shit doesn't even have a fucking
that's
chance.
such a controversial thing. I've thought my way through this so many times. There's no way we can implement it.
No,
But I would love there to be some qualifying factor. That's one of your biggest impacts on society is having a child. And many
This
people
is the next
should
generation that
freaking
have a child.
not. Yeah.
it's on a micro level. You having a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but say there's 300,000 more of you. You've
Yep.
created a generation of people
Yep.
who shouldn't have potentially been here.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're gonna also get all the stories that are like people that overcame their circumstances.
Not as many.
and bettered the
Yeah,
world
but
Not
good
as
luck
many.
overcoming your circumstances when you have 2 rape babies.
no, I'm saying
No,
that
but-
the babies would have a chance
It's-
to better their.
That
their
does
situation,
happen,
you know?
yes,
Like,
but
you
I don't
can't-
want to
you
deny
can't
that
just make it-
possibility.
You can't just make it without the possibility, because one of the best parts about
But
the world and
statistically,
humanity and
of-
things like
You're
that is
sounding
you have-
really libertarian right now.
Of those 300,000 unwanted pregnancies, only 100,000 received a reasonable shot at
That
success.
seems way too high.
So, well, a shot at success.
That seems
Maybe, let's
too high.
say a third got a shot at success, as in one of their parents got their crap together, or they got in a decent foster home temporarily, or whatever. And then, how many of that 100,000 with a shot at success weren't too damaged to succeed already, or did have the intelligence to build the tools to become successful after that?
Yeah, I mean, I have
Define success, though, right?
so
Well,
one of
success
my-
is not engaging in criminal activity. Success is general goodwill towards other people. Success is building a
That's-
healthy community.
Almost completely gone these days.
Yeah, I mean, with people in good circumstances can get
Yeah.
into those things nowadays.
One of my difficulties that I run into with these things is there's a great number of people that cannot have kids and would like to adopt, but fiscally it puts it out of their range of
Which is a
adoption.
bit absurd. If
Yeah.
someone can prove that they have no debt and they're paying all their bills and they have enough disposable income to look after a kid, get after it.
I know.
Like, let's go.
And this is
And
one
you know
of
what?
those-
Just once a year, have someone interview the kid and be like, hey, what are your parents up to? Do they hit you? How often? Where do they hit you?
Well, that's
What's it like?
Those are
What's it
those
like
are-
when he hits you?
Yeah.
Those are my.
How do you feel
Oh,
when
it's-
your dad abuses you?
It seems like he swatted your hand because you were being a little dick. oh, it sounds
Well,
like
I've
you
said
got
this
punched
before.
in the
People
face.
always give me a funny look when I say it, but like I got beat when I was a kid
Mhm.
by my stepdad, my older brothers.
Mhm.
Probably on a weekly basis, I got the shit beat out of me.
Wow.
I had several concussions as a kid too, from being
This
beaten.
explains so much.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, I have no problem telling it how it happened.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like my older brother beat the shit out of me because he hated me because my father replaced his father in his
Mhm.
eyes.
Mhm.
And then I gave my stepdad shit all the time because I felt like he replaced my father. I never accepted him. So he would beat the shit out of me. All this was happening when I was very young. But it taught me some level of respect for authority.
Sure.
Now,
That's what you wanna call it.
It sounds dark and twisted,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I feel like, I'm not saying I want to be able to beat my children or anything like that. I've
Mhm.
never hit my son. But I feel like for certain people, that actually helps in a way, have that happen.
I think there are better ways. We can get into a parenting chat if you want, but I think there are better ways to establish hard boundaries. But
Oh, yeah.
But what I've noticed in a
Concussions isn't your first
Well,
issue.
but
Okay,
what
so-
I've noticed in a lot of new parenting strategies is that there's no
There's
one's giving
no.
parents a way to express hard boundaries.
So I was
And
talking
I
to
don't
my-
think physical is the right way.
I was talking to my coworker, my boss-ish,
Mhm.
Daryl, about this. His parents didn't do that to him, but I have more fear of his mother than I have of my mother.
Yeah.
And she's never been physical with anyone. But like I've known this one for a long time, and if she tears a strip off of you, you feel like you've been beaten.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
See, my parents both came from pretty physical families, right?
yeah.
So they were actually very reasonable with us in that level, but they still learned some skills and some hard boundaries. And you'd have a conversation with them when you hit a boundary, and it was a bad conversation. That was
Yeah.
worse than any beating you.
I felt worse when I've argued with this woman than I
Yeah.
have ever from being
That-
hurt by
That's what I'm
parents.
saying. I'm pro hard boundaries, but right now I'm helping raise children, and there's zero physical intervention. Don't get me wrong, you pick up
Oh,
the
yeah,
stuff
I've
and
never-
carry
I've
them
never
to the room
done it.
sometimes, but there's zero spanking. There's a swat on the hand here and there, but nothing
seems
painful, nothing
Like a
violent.
barbaric answer.
It is.
But at the same time, I feel like it was of a time.
Yeah.
Like we weren't as aware of how bad it was years
Yeah.
ago, and now that we are, it's almost like really
Mhm,
like.
mhm.
But I don't, for example, hold it against my stepdad.
Mm.
And in fact, I love that man more today than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
And I respect everything that happened and him for staying with kids that hated him and didn't want him around.
But the solution to that wasn't hitting them.
Oh, I know that.
And
He's made apologies.
he probably
for how
knows it
was.
now, too.
Oh, I'm sure
Exactly.
he has. We all learn, right?
Yeah.
And he's a much softer man now, and he would never do that to my son, for
Yeah.
example. But like he wasn't perfect himself, and he had his own problems, and we didn't make it easy for him either. And I'm not making apologies.
It's funny how as men we first seem to get harder and then softer.
Oh yeah.
But over the years, it's also like you're getting harder and softer at the same time. Like you're learning where your hard boundaries are, and you get a firmer stance on those, and you're learning where you should be soft at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, There's a
I
balancing act.
learned a lot from that guy because he's a military guy. He was
Oh.
20 years military,
It's-
and so a lot of my discipline comes from him.
yeah,
Like,
and
and
where,
not from being beat by it, but watching
where
him.
he sees no, it's like this, and that's all there
He's
is to
very,
it.
very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. And I didn't get that from anyone else in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And like as an adult, I look at that guy and I'm like, this is as close to a typical old school man
Yeah.
as I will ever know.
Yeah.
And when like I'll call him to help me, like say the other day when my washer was acting up, I didn't know exactly what to do with it. This guy has every answer for
That's
anything
right.
mechanical. My car that doesn't work, even if he can't fix it, he knows what's wrong with it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like this is an old school guy, and we don't have these anymore.
That's a man before YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a man, like a real deal man,
Mhm.
and we don't have these anymore.
Mhm.
They're not coming up. We don't.
It drives me nuts when there's situations that I know that I should be a man in that situation.
Yeah.
Like it just should like, because I'm not super handy when it comes to certain things
Me either.
like that.
This is where my
I try and study this guy's
Like,
learn.
you're crazy when it comes to that.
Well,
Just the amount of
he's a little
things-
like you in that, like I've said of my stepdad, if you drop this guy off in the fucking desert, he'll find land. He'll be home in the next day. You drop me off
in the desert. He found land.
you drop me off.
land.
You drop me off in the
there.
fucking desert, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like I'm not coming back. You'll never see me again. I'll never make it home.
That's one of those things, like, and I think we've been a little confronted with this whole world situation that's going on, but it's just this understanding of where we are on the food chain. Like, if things go bad, what week do you die in?
I'll be
Well,
dead
see,
quick enough.
my issue, like
I won't be dead first, but I won't be dead last. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I have good technical and survival skills, but I'm a skinny guy with high metabolism.
Yeah.
If food shortage is part of it,
Yeah, you die first.
I'm in rough water.
I hang on.
I'm in
for a
bed.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
got
dead.
some,
Yeah.
got some reserves.
I got some uncomfortable days, but I can do it. That was, yep.
Yeah, I think I long for that classic feeling of like structure,
I think everybody does.
but like it's not coming back. We're getting farther
Well,
from it.
I don't know.
Can you
Rome
define
collapsed.
Can you define what you mean by structure in this case?
So
Seriousness, severity.
the severity
Oh,
and
okay.
competence,
Survival.
competence,
Okay,
like
competence. That's what I thought you
like
meant.
being able to go to someone who has answers.
Mhm,
And there were very few for me.
mhm. Yeah.
But when it comes to the things that are mechanical and structural, there should be answers.
Yeah.
Like if your car breaks down, someone knows how to do it.
I think that's
So
why military works for development of those skill sets, because that's the one environment where having, like, because what you're talking about is you're talking about the understanding of consequence.
I want to challenge you guys to something. Finish your point though.
Well, just that, you know, in military terms, if you screw up, someone dies.
That's right.
And
that's
that's
right.
the ultimate, that's the
taught
ultimate
me my
consequence.
discipline for life, where I am on time or early for everything,
Yeah.
and I will never be absent. I
Yeah.
don't make excuses.
Because you don't-
I don't call
Because
in.
you don't need to.
But like
Life's
nowhere
easier-
else
life's
in my
easier
life
than
was I
military
taught
crap.
that. My dad was
Yeah.
he get in a fight at work and he's not there for a week.
Life's
My
you know
mom
what's
is-
easier than sleeping in? Setting a freaking alarm.
Yeah, well,
Like when our generation not
so
learned,
my whole
set
life
the damn
has been,
alarm.
my
just get
whole
it
life
done
has
and do
been
it right.
like no one set the alarm. My
Yeah.
stepdad has the alarm in his head.
Right.
He's on all the time, and as he's aged, he's softened, but like he's still that.
He still has discipline.
He's still that disciplined guy.
Yeah.
He's quit smoking. He's quit drinking Pepsi. You know,
Yeah.
like he just if he wants to do something, he just does it. The only place I've seen that in my family is from that guy.
Right.
And he's foreign from my family.
Mhm, mhm.
Like no one in my family is like him because he's not the one attached to me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird.
So my challenge.
Yeah.
You know what's way cheaper than paying a mechanic? One of those scanner tools you just plug into your car and it tells you what's wrong.
Oh yeah.
So
we're
I challenge.
innovating away the handyman is what you're telling me.
I challenge you to cultivate it. Cultivate the handyman. So here's the simplest way. Something breaks in your house, take it apart and try to fix it.
Yeah.
Plays it yourself. But secondly, get that stupid scanner. Even if your car breaks in a way you can't fix it, try to diagnose it. At least plug you get an engine light. What the hell is that? You go to a mechanic. It costs you $150 just for him to pull the machine
Well,
out
this is
and
it.
scan it.
Like I
The
had to do
machine
some.
costs $80. So you can buy the machine, and then you know what the code is. So it tells you a code. There's only 4 buttons to the machine. It's not hard to learn the machine. And then you can go online and be like, what's the code? And guess what? You know how many times I've fixed my own crap? Like, I'm mechanically inclined, but not automotive
That's what I was telling
mechanically
you
inclined that much.
the other week where I YouTube
You know what shit I fixed?
my car, and there's a
Yeah.
video on every car. Someone.
That's what I'm saying.
But like, it's
Like-
kind of weird that we're replacing that. That all he knows a thing or two about a thing or two. You know?
But
But
to
meanwhile,
be fair,
you could
machines back in the day weren't computer-driven insanity. Like
Which
it
is-
was like there's only a few things that can, like when you're dealing with like a '70s Mustang or something
Mhm.
like that. Like there's only a certain amount of things that can go wrong, and they're physically replaceable.
But in year 2018,
It's
you-
all digital.
You buy this computer, you plug it in, it's going to tell you
Yeah.
what sensor
doing
is
what.
giving the wrong signal. And then you're going to go online and you're going to Google that for your vehicle, and it's going to tell you, oh yeah, you probably have a clogged air filter.
Right.
You probably have an issue here. Or this sensor typically fails at 100,000 kilometers.
Just like you were
Go buy a
saying,
new sensor, and you can put that sensor in. It's going to be hard on your knuckles or whatever, but you can absolutely unplug a sensor, unscrew it, plug a new one in, and plug it in.
Yeah.
You were saying about this on like episode 5 or 6 of this podcast about how we don't really need memory anymore.
No.
Yep.
Like, why do we need memory? Because we have a thing that can tell us everything.
Siri can tell us.
But like, what do we do with all that space then in our brains? Like, we do have reasons to know things.
How to fly.
We worry about things that don't exist.
Yeah, for freaking starters.
Because like we used to have to remember how to do these things, and now we don't, because our phones can tell us anything in 0.5 seconds.
So
I'll say this.
everyone has anxiety now.
Yeah, pretty well. One of the things that drives me nuts more than anything is people taking pictures of sunsets with their phones. Because like,
and then
enjoy
they
the
edit
damn
them
sunset.
so that they're perfect.
yeah.
Like, it's like, how about you just go fucking look at that?
But I'm sorry, if you go anywhere, if you go to the mountains, and you take a photo of the mountain, that photo looks like shit.
Yeah.
If you stand in that exact same spot and look at that mountain, it's awe-inspiring.
Everything looks worse in picture.
Yeah.
And different in picture.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the things that I hate about Instagram, creating content for Instagram.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't even replicate real life in a fucking photo.
No.
Like,
They'll
you
never
don't
come
look
close.
the same.
Yeah.
Nothing looks the same.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're editing to try and make it look the same.
That's what
Yeah.
I've always said. Is like tattoos in person have a strikingness to them, and to try and get that across on a photo is insanely difficult.
Yeah.
You get even a percentage of how striking it is.
Yeah.
You get a bit better at video. A bit better. It is a bit, like, I find when I see us talking on video, I'm happier with how that looks than, like, how a photo of that would look.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why that is, but it just doesn't capture the same way.
I think it feels 3D rather than feeling 2D. I know it's a photo of a 3D environment, but it just
Even
feels flat.
poor quality stuff like my vlogs, I'm happier with the way that looks than anything on my Instagram feed.
I think that's probably also why video platforms seem to take forefront. Like, I feel like YouTube and well, now TikTok.
Yeah,
But these
TikTok.
things where video elements seem to take the forefront of our consumption. Because it's like when you're scrolling through 2D images, it's just like, okay, image, and you eventually get bored.
I'm
and
so
just leave it.
disenfranchised with it too, because I just don't trust anything anymore. I don't trust anything I see anymore.
But
nothing.
soon it's even easier to edit video than it is to edit picture.
I mean, if you're skilled,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's for the layman, no.
Not for the layman.
you have to develop software which has rigid boundaries.
Speaking of stills,
Because like
though-
you can't put a video through Lightroom.
No, that's true.
No, you can't.
Not
You
the
can't
same
do
at
it. Nothing, like all of my video content, my vlogs, they're not edited. There's nothing I can do to them.
all. Yeah.
So when you go and you watch me stand and babble, you are clear that that is just me.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing I can do to that.
You
I
can
can make a photo.
you can knock the saturation down a bit. You can crank up the contrast.
you
but that's
basically you're not.
That's it.
You're not. And if you do anything too much to the contrast, you look terrible.
Oh
Because
yeah.
they get to destroy the frame rate.
Because
and
sure,
everything.
here this contrast is good. As soon as you turn your face, your shadows change.
It looks
and now the
fucking weird
contrast
when you,
is
when you
whack.
start messing with video with shitty software. It looks
Yeah.
fucking bad.
Yeah,
It looks bad.
as it should. I think eventually barrier to entry, as with all things, it will get less and less.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's one of those like you're gonna have still this rigid boundary, even with audio, even with photo. It's like there is majority of people swipe through filters.
Here's my
Yeah.
thing. If I want to, I could just effortlessly blend Scott's face onto my body in a picture.
Oh goodness.
And then
yeah.
turn my skin pink.
Yeah.
I could do that in
And
3
you
or
could,
4
you could put
minutes.
my face on your body and keep the face.
And I could sell it to you like it's a real photo.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, fuck you. Now I'm Scott. And it looks good.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And remember,
I can't do that on a video yet.
True. Good
remember
lord.
how they used to have to like fake photos by putting photos together?
Yeah.
Like how that was like a thing for like CIA and all that
But
stuff.
now
where
you
it's
can
like
do it on your phone so easy.
Yeah, you like take 2 photos and like stitch them together, and like used Vaseline to blur the edges.
It's like when I look at Instagram, I'm just like, no, this is just fucking shit. It's so bogus, man. I'll see these full-grown men that are editing their eyes different colors and stuff. I'm like, nah, just fuck off. Get off my screen. Go, get away from me. I don't want to see it. It's so fake. It's not even that it's fake. It's hyper fake. Like it's not even reality anymore. It's just so overdone. Where it's like, this is not a human being. You're not a fucking human. Where do you come from?
And why are you trying to be fake about something? Like, let's get real here.
That's why, like, my Instagram page, when you look at it, it doesn't look good, really. Like, it just looks like a guy. Like, you see someone who has a very cut, clear aesthetic, where every image looks like edited the same way. It's controlled. Every element of it is perfected and the same color. And I hate that. I hate all of that.
Well, I mean, we're able to present our idealized
I
whatever.
get why people do it. Because it should drive engagement up, because they'll see this and they'll automatically know it's me.
And imagine if you had to post photos the way that you used to take photos back when you got photos developed.
Yeah.
Like, you just had to post whatever came up. Where it's like, yep, you got red eyes in this one.
Yeah.
At best, it's blurry.
You can't see half of the photo. But
Well, that's
you're posting
kind of what I try and
Your
keep
finger
a
of the
little
lens,
bit of in my feed. It's like, you are just seeing a guy living life. I don't want it to look like I planned all the elements. And then if someone takes a picture of me, I'm like, you made me look wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. This isn't Remy. Remy doesn't look like that. Remy only has this side of his face shown. Remy doesn't
even have
Remy
the other side
doesn't
of
put
his
his
face.
arm this way. Like, there are people who are like that.
I know.
Yeah.
And they get
I've known
angry.
many.
Like, I've known people who are angry if you'll post a picture of them and it's not the one they liked or something. It's like, you didn't make me look right. What if someone sees this?
It's insanely common.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Sorry, someone could mistake you for a real freaking human.
But
It's fucking crazy.
to be fair, like, this is more common in the female realm.
Oh, for sure.
Because, like, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in junior high, whatever, girls would always do that shit with, like, digital cameras and stuff. And they were always pissed if somebody got them in the bad light. And,
Really?
you know what I mean? Like, that's like...
How do you tell
focus
some of
on-
these people, there's no good light for you? Like,
Well-
you're gonna look like you're gonna look.
But we don't like ourselves anymore.
South Park had a fun episode on this. Have you seen it?
Which one?
Where
They've
Small South Park, yeah.
it was one where they were editing a lot of photos,
Oh, okay.
and the kid with the hottest girlfriend wasn't the kid with the hottest girlfriend. It was the kid with the girlfriend who made the hottest pictures online. So I think Butters was seeing a girl. I think Butters was seeing Wendy Hesselberger or something, and he was literally like, he'd be hanging out with her, looking at the picture of her on the
Although-
like that kind of crap.
Yeah.
There are people that you see them in pictures and you're like, oh, that's terrible. And then you see them in real life and you're like, that person's kind of hot. Like, that does happen. It's weird. Some people don't photo well.
I find I don't photograph super well. I'm kind of like,
Some people, you need that living component for them to almost make sense.
yeah.
I think people in general need to have full composition.
Well, you're pretty.
Well, you see
you're
their
pretty
mannerisms
photogenic,
make
though.
people attractive
Yeah,
too.
like that said, maybe your
I don't
wife.
think that way.
Your wife is also pretty good at getting the right.
She's very photogenic.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm in the frame with her, I just kind of take it down a notch, but the notch is still pretty high with her.
Well,
you're just
some-
showing points right now, aren't you?
She's very symmetrical. She doesn't listen to this.
Oh, fair.
she wouldn't be this far in there.
No.
But there are people who
Roman Bill, I should say something
it's
good.
it's like their face is so good, but then their mannerisms and the way they move around kind of animates them and makes them more attractive.
Oh, absolutely.
Weird.
We're watching this garbage TV show because that's what you do when you're quarantined.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a British show, which I learned about, but I'd never seen before, and it's called Naked Attraction.
Oh no.
It's goddamn wild. So the premise is that you have 6 people in a box, and they're all naked, and one person is choosing who to date based on them naked, and they go from the bottom up to, and so you have like the very first reveal. So like say it's a woman that's going to judge for 6 guys or whatever. So these 6 boxes raise up to reveal 6 dicks. And so she's just analyzing their dicks with the host, walking up to them and like talking about them and stuff.
The way you're holding her hands, it looks like she's grabbing.
And it's
Give them
pretty
taste
close.
test,
And like vice versa, like there's all different shapes and sizes. There's like gay, straight, all walks of life that are in this show. But it's just wild because it's like she has to eliminate someone based on their lower half first, and then they raise up and you see the upper torso.
Can you imagine being the guy who got eliminated first?
They're all crushed when they're the first one out.
Well,
Every
fuck if
single
you're being
person.
judged on your penis, the ultimate like male measuring stick, right?
Yeah.
And this woman is eliminating you based on your shortcomings, literally.
Yeah.
You might have a complex for life.
Yeah. Although, but like the interesting thing, so one of the weirdest things is that when you have to just look at someone in an isolated situation, it doesn't make any sense. Like you can't-
obviously.
Yeah. So like when all of a sudden they get to their face, all of a sudden their form completes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I always find most interesting when they eliminate the first
And
person.
then it turns out they're racist.
No, not usually in this show.
Well,
It's
no.
weird.
I'm just
It's a
saying.
very like
We're getting
accepting
into the
crowd.
TikTok swipe up or swipe right,
That's
right?
the thing.
Or
Yeah.
you're swiping right, and you don't realize that person is actually a white supremacist.
That's
They had a nice
exactly
smile,
it.
though.
That's
Right?
what I'm saying.
This is
here.
what, yeah.
It's like this.
comparison.
This is not a reasonable way.
Yeah,
to
he's
choose
got a nice
partner.
penis,
No.
but
It's
he
absurd.
just ate 6 babies.
And the funniest,
Right? Like, all of a sudden, that cock looks less attractive now.
the funniest part about it is like most of the women choose like the biggest dude, right?
Of course.
Either penis or like buffest or whatever.
Of course.
And it's hilarious that because they'll always do like 4 weeks later after the date. It's like the guy ghosts them every single time. Every
What?
single fucking time. It's like when they go strictly based
Of
on
course, he's going to
visual
find
attraction.
someone else now.
Exactly. It's like they go for like physical
This
attraction
is-
only, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I don't know. We went
Well,
out that
I
one
mean,
time.
the
It was a
alpha
great night, and I
males,
haven't heard from him since. It's like,
Biologically, that guy is top crop,
Yeah.
and he's going to spread his seed. Biologically, whether or not he's having the babies,
yep,
his mind is all about, I gotta fuck all the women,
yeah.
right? It's only the betas that will go, I need this one woman.
Well,
This
that's-
no one will fuck me.
That's also why the
Right?
dad bod is so appealing to women, because that shows that they're going to be a father.
Well, that becomes appealing at a certain point,
Yeah, well, when you want them to stick around.
right?
Yeah,
Which
when you just want to pick
happens
down.
as you get older, generally.
You say good dicking?
Yeah,
Dicking down.
Yeah.
sticking down.
Dicking down.
Now-
Is that the new word?
I don't know.
This is
It
where
is now.
But it's a wild show.
this is where
I highly
Brett
recommend it.
Weinstein,
Yep.
when he was doing the podcast with Jordan Peterson, and
Yep.
they said, "Oh, it's basically you can't be a biologist anymore." And he
Yeah.
interjects, he goes, "That's not necessarily true. It's bad to be any good at being a biologist,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because then you end up saying factual statements like a alpha male wants to fuck all the women because he wants to have all the babies, but a beta male only wants one woman because he can't get all the women, right? And a woman who's getting older wants that beta male
Yeah.
because he needs her, right? You can't say things like that anymore because they're sexist, right?
Man, we live in a weird time for that.
But like it's hard. People don't like hearing the
Any
boiled down
generalizations.
the scientific reasons, right? They don't like the magic taken out of things.
Well, that's why statistics are no fun, because they
We need
ruin it.
Disney. Yeah.
Like, even though, because it kind of grounds you a little bit when you look at statistics and facts, and like, because you don't get to have your.
A lot of people aren't computationally quick enough to understand that statistics aren't defining who you are. You know, statistically, men and women can be different, or male and female, I don't know what the way to say it now is. People of different genders can be...
Whatever's correct.
Yeah, people of different genders are statistically different in these ways. That's not defining you. You're able to be whoever you are. You can fall wherever you want the statistic. Just because 60% of this gender is more likely to do this doesn't mean you can be in the 40% all you want. But those statistics go over people's heads and they say, oh, well, I'm not like that, so it doesn't work for me. Or, oh, well, not everyone's like that, so the statistic is wrong.
I feel like people only like definition that is self-definition. I don't think they like being characterized
Dude.
by someone else.
That's interesting because
Because they love to define
we
themselves.
are being governed on an ideological kind of identity politics
Yeah.
way, right? We're all being sectioned off, yet we don't seem to like it,
Yeah.
but we're participating in it.
Yeah.
We like being part of a group, but then we don't like being defined within that group.
That's
Well,
weird.
we like to define ourselves within that.
Right.
Like self-determinance.
We don't want people dictating to us based on the group we're in.
Which, so, positive theory here. Because
Uh-oh.
self-determinance would be very right-wing.
Okay,
What I
yeah.
would consider, because
A little,
self-determinance...
a
in
little bit
terms of-
libertarian even.
Sure, yeah. But when the field of capitalism is not money, it's social capitalism.
Okay.
All of a sudden, self-determinance becomes very important.
Right.
Because a lot of people that are leaning left socially are very capitalistic in terms of their definitions of themselves. Because they don't want to be put in a box by the man or the establishment or
Okay.
things like that. They
Okay.
want to be able to define their reality themselves,
Yeah.
which is exactly what the right is talking about in
Mhm.
terms of finances,
Yeah.
the external world want. So it's like, depending on which avenue of commerce you're in, the tendency is still to have self-determinance, but they're defining the marketplace differently.
Right. Right.
So it's like within the marketplace of society, which a lot of people that go through university systems and things like that, a lot of your equity is based socially. It's not based
Fair.
on how much money you're making because everybody's a broke student.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then all of a sudden it becomes you're in the marketplace of social equity
Yes,
rather
yes.
than capital equity.
Yeah.
So
Because.
you're talking the same language, but it's just using a different currency.
Yeah.
Huh.
Social currency, sure.
Because and Instagram is a social currency.
Oh, sure.
Nobody likes their account getting ghost, whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know what to call
Shadow
it.
ban?
Shadow ban. Thank you.
But there does come a point where I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I no longer care about being shadow banned.
But you have a number
Yeah.
that people would associate with high social equity.
Oh, I know. But, like, that's where I'm saying there's a tipping point.
Yeah.
It's like...
But people also do equate it to dollars. They think they
Yeah,
make
this
money.
is where I was going.
do.
So
Yeah.
there's a tipping point also where we were talking about if you don't care about this lockdown, you have privilege. I feel like I have social privilege because I don't give a fuck if I get shadow banned.
Yeah.
There's enough people know about me and spread me
Yeah.
that I will grow no matter what Instagram does to me anymore. I even came back from being
You
deleted.
have a good portfolio.
There's no stopping Remy from growing anymore.
Yeah.
That's going to happen no matter what. And it sounds narcissistic, but it's not.
Unless you have an economic collapse.
Yeah, unless
They're
I
the
do
same
something,
behaviors, just different
unless I do
kinds of-
something socially reprehensible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden I get like a rape allegation.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, you lose your you just had a bad fiscal
and
quarter.
it's like, oh, I'm signing off for Remy. Remy's no good.
But this is where, like, I find psychology in these realms really weird. Because in those spheres, all of a sudden you're at a place where you have either student loans or you have wealthy parents, but your economic level maintains.
Well, your lifestyle.
Your
This being
lifestyle.
said, that
Lifestyle's
being
the
said, it's the same thing though too. Like, because I equate a person that's dropped into a high social status, I look at them as if they were born wealthy.
Yeah.
Whereas what I've done on social media, I feel like I've been self-made, which is the same as being an entrepreneur that becomes wealthy, and then you feel like I'm self-made millionaire, right? I feel like that, but in a social sense.
I think that's also why UBI is so appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can worry about the economics that you actually care about. Because
Mhm.
if you have an investment in social economics and you like that realm and you can feel like you perform well in that realm and you don't feel like you can perform well in the dollars realm,
Mhm.
if you can have that stability, maintain your privilege as it would be,
Mhm.
and then you can focus on self-determinance in the
Except
avenue that you
that-
actually care
right.
about.
I think that what's funny is that where being successful financially and socially have a lot in common. Competence. It turns out competence is shared across these two fields.
Imagine that.
Yeah, weird.
Right, where people don't want those two ideas to be married, they are.
Yeah.
You don't
It's
get
like
a lot of
the same
charismatic
tendency.
people who are like, "Whoa, woe is me! I can't make it
Yeah,
at all.
that's
I
not
can't
really.
get by in the
Turns
least."
out that's not a really popular idea online either.
No.
Like being unsuccessful in real life doesn't necessarily translate well online either.
No.
Mhm.
But it doesn't necessarily, like, you can hide that, but it will come out in your tendencies. Like, if you're not disciplined you're not structured in real life, you can't bring that chaos online and expect to do real well.
Yeah.
You go a week without posting, you're not trending upwards. Like, you have to be relevant and disciplined all the time to rise online too, if you want to stay relevant for a long time.
Yep.
If you want to be a flash in the pan, sure, you can show up for a month and do some things. People will talk about you for a minute. But if you want to, 2 years in a row, have people sharing your fucking candy canes through your nose, you have to be there doing the work every day.
You gotta put in your reps.
You have to see the
That's
gym.
right.
You have to go to the gym every day, and you don't want to. Because there's some days when I'm sick of it, where I'm like, I don't even want to post. These guys don't want to fucking see me. But by doing that, you have that big turnout when you need it,
Yeah.
or when you want it. Like when I did that naked bodysuit, and I was shadow banned for 2 weeks from that, by the way. I know I was, because nothing I did trended. But I had so much support from people that I didn't even give a shit. It's like, yeah, whatever, what are you going to do? This image got shared 8,000 times. Good luck slowing that down.
It's one of those things that, like, competency or a good product wins out.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
the only reason Tesla is successful is because it's a good car. It's the only
Yeah.
reason.
It didn't have good press.
Yeah.
Nope.
And it's like, it doesn't matter that it's a good idea, it doesn't matter that it's a holistic or, like, human forward kind of thing.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't
has
matter
to
what
be a
you sell.
good car.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
Yeah.
not a good car, you're screwed.
That's right. Exactly.
And like, if that's a good image, it's going to win out.
Well, it was a good image for more than just the picture.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of people were waiting for the reveal of all of that work that I was building up for years, right? And so if I ran that every day, it's not as potent.
No, yeah.
So you do it every now and then, and it's like, holy shit, look at Remy did it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was more for people I built for over 2 years of watching that progress to see that completion than it was for me. I knew what I was doing with that picture was gonna fuck me for a minute.
Yeah.
I knew. I was like, there was no chance this hits the explore page. And I'm
It's
at
weird.
a point where if I don't hit the explore page, I take losses. Because, as I've said before, you're in a room with 100,000 people, you do anything, and some of those people are going to be anywhere.
Doesn't this sound like trades and the stock market? His language?
Yeah, a
You
little
know what I mean?
bit.
Like, because he's betting on certain things in his portfolio
Yeah.
that will
I do this
trend
with
in the long
every
run,
single-
it'll
and
affect his short-term return.
he's timing them too.
Yeah.
That's the big one. You
I
gotta
do
time
this
some
with
stuff.
every single thing I do on Instagram.
Mhm.
Everything is
Mhm.
calculated.
But this is what I'm saying, like, we like to gravitate towards these things no matter what the currency is.
That's
Yeah.
why I say if
Yeah.
you're not good at work and making money, if you're Joe Blow and you're on social media, you don't have a fucking chance in hell. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless you're just some naturally beautiful Adonis of a man,
Mm-hmm.
you're not doing fuck all.
Well, you're
You
gonna
asked me recently if it's possible to become a thing now with how Instagram is.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's not going to be easy. You
No.
can't do it. You
Yeah.
have to really know who you are and how to sell that. You have to have a really good round outlook of yourself, like, and know how you can make yourself a product.
Well, you're a producer.
Yep.
Like, I still think
And
too,
you're
there's
the
people
actor.
that are consumers in this marketplace and there are producers in this marketplace.
Yep.
The economics are, it's going to be the same thing. You know, I mean, there's people that are going to be investors in Tesla and there's people that are going to be buying the cars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you have this exact same thing. There's going to be people that you are a producer, everybody else is a consumer
It's
in
like-
what they're taking from you.
Even on a very micro level, because you have to boil it down. This morning, I did 6 pictures in one post. All of those could have been the front picture of that swipe set,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to look at all of those and go, what has the ability to trend between all of these the best? And any one of them might have, and I could even be wrong. You have to know which one of your tattoos that you're putting up
Mhm.
has the ability to
It's going to
get
catch
shared.
most people's eyes.
It's just because you like it a lot and you're happy with how certain things came out in it.
Mhm.
Sarah down the road doesn't necessarily give a shit
Yeah,
about your...
she's paying attention to way different details. than I am.
Exactly. She's paying attention to a certain thing that you need to become aware of.
Like I might post something that has hands in it just because I know that hands are
Yeah.
technically difficult to get right, but hands don't move her the same way because she's not an artist.
Hands might not
She-
trend.
Yeah, she doesn't value hands just because of their technical skill set. She values this other thing because it's got a cool tree in it.
Yep. So, for example, just because I like the way a picture looks and makes me look nice, doesn't necessarily mean it has the elements I need it to have to be a huge post.
Right.
So you have to be able to, no matter what you're doing, separate yourself from it. Like go, yeah, I like it because it's a good picture that I like, but will everyone else like it? Because I'm not posting things that I like.
Yeah.
Never. I
That's
post things that other people will like.
You know, that's one of the difficulties I have with that that video that we made.
Yeah.
It's because I think it's awesome.
You think it's awesome. It has a
It's
bit more
hilarious.
flavoring that you would enjoy than
Yes.
necessarily maybe others would. Because
I'm
there's
excited
gonna
to
be-
see how it does.
But there's
I
going to
just
be
sit
some
there
stuff.
watching it going like, am I going to be the only person that thinks this is funny?
No, there's
Nah.
going to be people that find it funny, but
But it's
there are
gonna-
some things that will be lost on some people.
It's going to be a completely separate demographic than what your YouTube currently has.
That's where I was like saying I don't want to get into. We were talking about cooking.
Yeah.
That's not a lane for me.
Different
Yeah.
demographics.
It's too far out of my lane. I am fine with moving a little bit left, a little bit right out of my comfort zone, but you can't be here and go, I'm over here now. And there's no line to get there. Because like I can't wiggle this far. I can only wiggle. And you can't make yourself Walmart. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be Walmart. I can't be Walmart. I have to be Remy, right?
Well, Walmart's
Remy
too much work.
Well, yeah, and I don't
Walmart requires too
one
much
guy.
staff. Yeah.
I'm not body mod Walmart. I can't be. I'm not a brand like I've had someone go, why don't you ever feature other people on your page? Like that kind of thing. Well, I'm not a tattoo page. I am a guy with tattoos. So I can't run Scott's tattoos.
I'm
on
not
my
here to
page.
sponsor you.
Right. But like in some senses it would be easier if I was. Because that makes content easier.
Yeah, of course.
And more diverse. You have to be you and what you do. You can't veer off too much from that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also like what ends up being successful is more genuine than I think we'd like to give it credit for. I think a lot of people think most situations are quite calculated because I think that also gives you like this this deification that you can kind of write it off with. I used to struggle with the idea of Taylor Swift being successful because I thought that she just had a machine behind her. She does, but she's also dope. She's really good at what she does, and she will be really good at what she does for the rest of her life.
There's the thing where you said you think that content should be more natural, right? And it will be better if it's more natural. And you're right. Like the things that do the best for me are often the least effort. And that's the most effort.
Yeah.
The most effort for me is going, the more you put into it, the less return you get sometimes.
Yeah.
So you need to do less. And that's hard.
That's probably why TikTok is so kind of loved. It's because the things that trend are so normal.
They
Like the
feel
dude
more.
with his cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Like that guy was gonna do that. He was gonna drive around on his longboard and drink cranberry juice. And listen, like all of a sudden it just captured a moment of reality for that guy.
You'll find two different things. You'll find someone who's doing a really produced thing that's supposed to be really funny. He's put a lot of effort into it, and you're like, okay, production quality, acting, all this shit. It's like, huh. And then you'll see a guy whipping banana peels at people with his phone recording it.
Yeah.
Like, he just throws a banana peel at his mom, and she's like, ah!
Yeah.
Like,
that
and
cheese thing.
It took like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Right? That's going farther for me.
Yeah.
And it took no effort. You probably didn't even think about it beforehand.
No.
It's way funnier.
Yeah.
Right?
It's probably like pure inspiration.
Right.
That's art.
So that's, I didn't even know exactly what I was going to do with those candy canes in yesterday's video.
Yeah.
Not for that one anyway.
You just had candy
I had
canes.
6 candy canes. I'm going to do this on the spot.
I got 6 candy canes. I got some holes.
I
got a
3
video.
videos. The other 2 will be reels. I did the classic one, just 3 through the nose, 4 through the lip, and then I did that one. And I was like, oh, that one looks the best. I was sitting on my doorstep in front of 2 blow molds.
Yeah.
This can't be any less effort, and it was that minimal effort on purpose. It's like, I can't go out somewhere special and clean this video up. If I do that, it'll look too produced.
Yeah.
It has to be really organic looking and simplified. Because that's what people want. People don't want to assume that you could never meet this person.
Mm-hmm.
The weirdest thing, though, is in their own lives and in their own, the way they describe things or present themselves is non-real.
Yeah.
It's like the things that are successful are real because you feel like you can break through the wall and know a person a little bit. But in the way that we all want to present our normal lives, it's idyllic. It's these like perfect frame nonsense photos, but the things we respond to are most real.
And that's where I've known a lot of other influencer type people who have like really high quality content, and I'll look at their stuff and I'm like, that looks great. It looks too good, and that's why you're down there and I'm up here.
Yeah.
You put way too much effort into looking fake and polished, and no one identifies with this, and no one would ever meet this person. You would never meet this person in real life because this person doesn't exist. It's not even you.
Dude, the Kardashians figured that out.
Yeah.
That's how they got success, was that reality show.
Yeah. You could imagine having a conversation with one of them.
Well, I can't.
I could imagine how it would be. I really could. But
I feel like it'd be pretty boring.
It wouldn't be great. But like people want to feel like they could relate to something, right? Like they could know, like, hey, someone can come up to me and have a conversation. Hey, that's Remy. I've seen Remy.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, Remy, how's it going? I get so many people who are like, Merry Christmas, Remy, like we're old friends or something.
Yeah.
It's because you've been there a long time and you've seen that person be real.
Yeah. I think that's also why like actors drive me nuts.
Oh yeah.
Because like they're paid to be a character.
When they show up, it's like, whoa, look at this person. And they got all these canned opinions on things.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not a thing someone would actually say.
Yeah.
Who paid you to say that?
Well, they spend a lot of their professional lives saying well-crafted lines.
Yeah.
Everything has gravitas
Poise.
to it. Like just in general in movies, like we have a lot of throwaway sentences in life. If we were to actually film, like that's why Tarantino's dialogue scenes are so crazy because they have so much throwaway dialogue.
Right.
If you really wanted to cut it down to essential dialogue, you can rip out a majority of Quentin Tarantino dialogue, but they're real. They're like real, like people having a conversation. But like most actors get given these lines that are supposed to be so special and so much weight and so much perfection to them, and then all of a sudden it's like they think in their real lives that's who they are. This like weight and gravitas.
They spend that long doing that.
I have a fun parallel to draw here. So when I started in the trades, women in the trades were super uncommon still. Like it was just starting. The culture was just starting to turn. So where, hey, this is a welcome thing, male female equality, all this stuff. So we're really encouraging women to get in the trades at that time. And now it's way more common. Most shops have at least a couple of girls working in them, right? But early on in those girls are new in the trades space, they were so rare that 100, 200, 300 guys building an airport, there's one chick working the whole thing. So she naturally gets a lot of attention. And as we all know, unhealthy attention does unhealthy, weird shit. So I remember having this interaction with this one woman on this one job site over the course of, however long is there. And everything she said sounded like it was supposed to be in a movie. The whole time she was like trying to land these
buzz phrases.
Yeah, it was all buzz phrases, trying to land this weird one-liner shit, and everything was like, oh, sure, I'll go to the tool crib, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you acting for? Like, what is going on here?
She's become a cartoon character.
She got so much attention, and maybe she was like this before, but she got so much attention, or she felt so out of place or something, that she built a persona that just came across so ridiculous. I'm like, I can't tell her, because I don't even know how to define what's happening here. This is crazy.
Yeah. I think we try and shape ourselves to get the best results that we can. It's hard to get to a place where you're cool with just being who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, I mean, I had a hard time with it for a long time, just because, like, I felt like I had to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
And I'm still really good at that. That's why I'm good at sales. But, like, it takes a long time to get comfortable with who you are inside and just, like, not really care if people don't resonate with it. Because, like, I think the one thing that happens to you that I think a lot of people don't understand how to deal with it is the negative feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the negative comments, to most people, that seems crazy. It's like you have to avoid those things at all costs. But eventually, it's like you got to be like, well, okay, some people aren't gonna like it.
It's just a constant companion.
Yeah. Some people.
I don't
choose.
wear it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I find it funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Generally, the only times that I ever think about it, it's like the funny things or like the funny interactions I'll have sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like someone will just growl at me about something completely inane, and I'm like, "Ow!" It's just the peak of hilarity to me.
Yeah, well, especially in something like that, it's if someone walks up to you on the sidewalk and they're like, "Hey, fuck you."
That's never happened to me.
No, but I mean, if that happens, that's the essence of someone leaving a comment on some bullshit. If someone walks up to you on the sidewalk and says, "Fuck you, man," you're like, "Okay, that's not a problem for me." You're showing me that you're having an unhealthy day.
Yeah, something's happening to you.
Yeah,
I feel for you, bro.
Yeah. You living inside your own meat suit is a rough time.
Yeah, you're not like it today, that's
and
for sure.
It sucks you're taking it out on me, but I don't take any damage from your obvious internal bullshit.
Yeah, we all know
My
that
method for dealing with negativity is constantly evolving.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of getting funnier to me all the time.
Yeah.
To some degree, I feel like the person attacking me isn't even a person anymore. It's like a force of nature.
That's
I've been
really looking at
in
it.
conversation with this force for years.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I'm talking to an old friend, like, "Oh, you again.
Oh, hello.
How are you today, sweetheart?"
Still bad, hey?
Things haven't gotten better yet, have they? And it's always like, "Huh? Yeah, you're the same person as the last guy."
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the same place. It's the same emotion. It's the same feeling of hostility.
I've met troll before.
It's almost like a vibration, and if you give into it once, you'll be giving into it all the time.
rest of your life.
Yeah.
So if you ever give any one person power, it gives the next person after that power too, right? And it feels like they're just continuing the wave from where the last person left off. It sounds weird, but that's how I've started to group it together.
Oh goodness, yeah.